Hello and welcome to round 4, the IFSC Lead World Cups 2016. I'm Charlie Bosco, I've got IFSC route setter Caleb Thomas alongside me, and we are live in the Austrian town of Imst. There we see a few views of Imst. It's a beautiful place, it lies in the Vorarlberg region, right next to Tyrol. We're about 45 minutes up the road from Innsbruck, where we had a Boulder World Cup back in May. And Caleb, I described you then as IFSC route setter. It's not strictly true. You're an aspirant route setter?
Yeah, an aspirant route setter. So I'm just currently going through the process to become an IFSC route setter.
And why did the IFSC want to get guys like you involved, and how does it work? How did this come about?
Well, as you know, it's really important in route setting to have lots of variety. So the IFSC is always trying to bring in new people from different countries, and also I think they want to bring in a younger generation as well to sort of carry the sport forward.
And what is your day job? Where do you normally set?
I work full-time as the head route setter at the Boulders climbing gym in central Sandwich, British Columbia. We're really lucky there to have a world-class facility that I get to set at.
I suspect Caleb's boss is listening, so if you are, you know where to send the pay rise, and feel free to go halves. And how have you found the experience of setting alongside our normal teams?
Oh, it's been incredible, actually. Way better than I expected. I assumed I might just be washing holds for 7 days, but they actually let me put a couple on the wall, and they let me have lots of input. Paul, Jan, and Flo were better than I could have ever imagined to work with.
And what's been the biggest thing you've learned? Because to people that might be new to climbing or new to route setting, you just think, well, it's set and routes. Just tell us specifically, what did you learn from these guys being around them for a week?
The biggest thing I would say is the level of the routes. Movement is relatively similar, but here it's really good to get a good idea of how hard they should be or how easy they should be. As well, pacing of the routes, where they should be quick, where they should be slow. And the last thing is definitely, I've learned a lot about professionalism, how to conduct yourself like a professional route setter.
Just before we get going here in Imst, here's the start list for the men. 26 men, 26 women into today's semi-final. Have great conditions for the qualifying earlier, slightly damp at times, but quite cool, not too hot. And as I say, we've got 26 men, 26 women through.
Yeah, it's good right now for climbing. It's the conditions are perfect. I wish it was like this when we were forerunning. It was very warm.
And then we see the women's start list. First out will be Barbara Bacher. Just remember the climbers come out in reverse order. So if you qualify first in the qualifiers, you climb last in the semi-finals. And with perfect timing, we're about to see the person who qualified first in the female qualifiers. Stand by. There you see, it wasn't Janja Garnbret, so her streak of winning every round of every World Cup this year is broken. She came second. She wasn't exactly a million miles behind, but she didn't top the qualifying round, which is done in every round of every World Cup so far this year in the IFSC Lead World Cups.
The 2 rounds for spectators are filling, standing. Also the big white party tents.
Just waiting for our first climbers out. Just to recap, Sascha Lehmann of Switzerland will be first out in the men's competition. He snuck in, as did Barbara Bacher of Austria. 16-year age gap between Sascha, the younger, and Barbara, the elder. She won't thank me for saying that, but it's an inspiration to the senior climber like myself that Barbara is still performing at the highest level.
I believe Barbara might have actually been an aspirant as well at the Innsbruck Boulder World Cup. I remember seeing that on the info sheet.
I remember she was, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool seeing her competing in lead as well as aspiring to be a boulder setter.
So what are the main differences, we just mentioned that then, between lead setting and boulder setting?
Really, it's not too different. Like, obviously the format is different. Obviously it's boulder versus lead, but the process is still the same. You still work as a team. You still try to put something on the wall that's going to create a good result and a good show.
And this has been something that we've talked about quite a lot recently on social media over the past week. To a route setter, what do you want the scores to look like? What is your ideal spread? Do you want one top, two top? Tell us what you're trying to achieve.
Well, it depends on the round. Generally in qualifiers, we look for a few more tops. I know today we were a little short on tops than what we wanted. We were aiming for about 6 per route, and we didn't quite get that on all our routes. Semifinal, no tops is generally good. We want to make sure that we have the perfect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 split going into finals. When we have that, then finals can be a really good show. The best finals are always the one where everyone gets close to the top, but only one person actually gets the finish hold. Fingers crossed, right?
Exactly. I say it just about every World Cup. I do not envy the route setters. A very nervous moment watching the climbers. I was chatting to another member of the IFSC route setter team here this evening in Imst, and he was saying that the first World Cup he ever set for, it got to the final. Mina Markovic walked out, the first climber, and topped the route, and he said,
no.
He just said he didn't know what to do, he left the venue, but he said in the end she was the only person to top it, worked out perfectly, but he just said, oh, he couldn't believe it, first climber out up the top, and he thought, oh no, we've messed this up.
It's like Chamonix last year when Basti came out and just went so high up the route on his first attempt. I would imagine the route setters were covering their eyes at that moment.
So that we see on the left, Sasha Lehmann, Barbara Backer from Langenfeld, not too far from here.
The opening of these semi-finals routes are both a little wacky. We wanted to have a little fun with them, make them a little uncomfortable before they got into the real deal climbing. So myself and Jans Bronek worked with the bottom of these routes, and we almost set a couple of little boulder problems in a row here. It's like a little shout out to the Boulder World Cup.
Yeah, I was going to say, these look very familiar to people that will have been watching us in Munich last week. Apologies, by the way, last week for the live stream in Munich. There was an issue with those venue's internet connection. We are slave to the venue's internet connection. Unfortunately, in Munich, we didn't have what we needed. So apologies for that. But you're getting a bit of bouldering action here at the start of these two semi-final routes.
There you go.
6 minutes, they had time. 50 minutes.
Sasha's looking strong here.
Yeah, Sasha, you said good season so far this year.
Yeah.
Already been in a final, 6th in Briançon.
Oh, good for him. This is a committing little section to fire up. There you go. You got to pop up to that torpedo, and it's very scary to do a move like this so low on the route.
Is that the way to do it? You've got to scurry, it's got to be quick?
Yeah, you kind of got to fall over to the first torpedo and then run your feet up the wall to the second one pretty quick. I'm sure some of the slower climbers might try to be a little more static, but he had a good method.
Now, just to give you some idea of the angle of this wall here in Imst, the lower section that we've just seen Sasha climbing, is that pretty much plumb vertical?
It's a little bit back from vertical. The wall here is very vertical until the roof. There's actually sections in the qualifiers that were slab, which was, I think, uncomfortable for probably everybody, including us. But Sasha's just popping out into the steeper sections here. The wall he's hitting is more like 10-15 degrees now. Maybe not quite.
And then it steepens again above him. Steepens one final time.
Well, you guys will see in a bit that both these routes go out into a roof section, especially the men's. Goes out into a full horizontal roof. We were trying to not quite use the roof for the women's.
It's a very spectacular wall here in Imst.
Oh, it's amazing. It's I believe it's the tallest wall on the circuit. I think it's 22 meters, 21.5 meters, something like this.
It is.
All I know is that I was scared pretty much the whole time, so.
Yeah, we were mounting some cameras actually earlier on today, and it is a long way.
It gets windy up there in the lift, and with Paul DeWild driving, it can get a little interesting.
So Sasha's
moving at a really
so
great
far.
pace, actually. He could be maybe going a little quicker, but he's doing really well. Barbara is maybe going to need to turn on the jets here soon. One of the issues that I know they have in Imst is with climbers timing out. this was the point of this bottom section being so bouldery. We wanted the climbers who really committed to the sections to be rewarded for that. The climbers who don't are maybe going to find it tricky near the end. This is a tricky move for Sasha. There you go. That's the first kind of real burly move. Then he gets a bit of a rest here on the roof. Gets the clip.
It looks a slightly awkward clip.
It's, you know, it's the World Cup.
Got to give him a bit of a challenge with the clipping.
Of course.
Yeah, we see Barbara much lower down. As Caleb's mentioned, being timed out is an issue here in Imst.
Absolutely.
It's such a huge wall.
There you go, Sasha. Good.
So Sasha's now on the steepest part of this men's route. As he pulls over this next lip, the angle does ease. It's still massively overhanging, but it does ease slightly.
Yeah, Sasha's looking great, actually. Come on. He's got to jump out to the back end of this volume here. That is the next kind of really tricky move for the men.
Sasha's just come down right in front of us. We've got the most fantastic position for a commentary box.
Yeah, we do, actually.
I think we're about to see it. There we are. Bottom left of your screen. You just caught a glimpse of us. Yeah, so the climbers come down right in front of us. You can see the reaction. See, Sasha, he doesn't look
I
too
think
disappointed.
Barbara's psyched. I think she's happy.
Yeah, she's pretty happy, I think. As I say, she's had a pretty good season. 21st in Chamonix. Just missed the semis in Briançon.
Oh.
But 2 out of 3 semi-finals. Not a bad start to the season. There we are. You can see it's down by that big yellow tube. So we've got a pretty good position. What you can't see behind the camera there is that the peaks of the Carvendel range, the massive mountain range to the, hold on, let me think of this, north of Imst are on the back of that camera. So if you're looking the other way, you'd be looking straight at the peaks of the Carvendel. I don't know if it's true, but I'm told that there's an area in the Carvendel that's the largest uninhabited area of the Alps. It sounds believable, doesn't it?
I'm a route setter, not a geographer.
I think if I say it convincingly, people will believe me. The largest uninhabited area in the Alps is in the Carvendel. There's Luc Timmermans. Another man you might have expected to be possibly slightly higher up the order. So for those of you who are just tuning in, we're live in Imst semi-final of the 4th IFSC Lead World Cup in 2016. IFSC aspirant route setter Caleb Thomas is alongside me. Already had 2 climbers out. We're now on Luc Timmermans, and that's Kokoro Takata on the right of Japan. Compatriot Tomoa Narasaki, of course, he claimed the overall title in the Boulder World Cups in Munich just under a week ago. So this women's route, we didn't really get a good look at it last time. Again, the lower section is quite reminiscent of a boulder problem.
Yep.
Just talk us through these moves she's on now up to the next torpedo.
So the trick here is to find the sidewall, which she did, which was, I think, a little bit of the issue for Barbara, which caused her to move a little slower. The moves here aren't extraordinarily hard, but they involve you to move a little quick, and the holds are slippery, so you're essentially on edge the entire way. Once you get past this angle change, the route really tips back into just pure power endurance climbing on pinches for maybe 10 or 15 moves, and the goal really there is to get them tired. Then the route changes color. It also very much changes pace and style at that point. It gets complex and sequency, and we're hoping that they couldn't read it so well from the ground, and they'll have to do a little bit of route finding up there.
Yeah, just before we came on air, the climbers had the observation period, and it's not like the Boulder World Cups. It's 26 climbers in men's, 26 in the women's, so there's 52 climbers on the stage. It's all a bit crowded. It's a bit like feeding time at the zoo, to be honest. One of these times we'll have to live stream the observation. It's I have to say, it's almost comical when there's quite so many climbers crowding the stage.
I actually, as a route setter, I love watching observation.
It's fantastic watching the different tactics.
Oh, yeah. When I set back in Canada, I actually try to make an effort to be right in with them during observation. trying to listen to what they're seeing and what they're coming up with, because I think that as a setter, that's actually pretty valuable information for you. The easiest way to know how to trick them is to try to understand what they're seeing when they're looking at the wall.
Don't forget, you can interact with us this evening on Twitter, #IFSCWC. Let us know what you think. Remember, if you've got any questions, I've got IFSC aspirant route setter Caleb Thomas alongside me. Any questions for somebody that helps set these routes, fire away. #IFSCWC.
Loic is taking advantage of a rest here, pretty low on the route. Curious to see if that strategy is good for him.
Yeah, we've already mentioned it. We'll be mentioning it again. Time, definitely a factor here.
Very much a factor at Imst. Actually, earlier, Yanya timed out while clipping the finishing draw on the women's Q1, which was a disappointment because we really wanted the top on this route, and she gave it to us, but just not quite quick enough. Thankfully, they get the extra 2 minutes for the semi and the final. They are going to need it. In qualifier, we ended the routes actually at the bottom of the roof, so the semis and finals are solid 8 meters longer, 6 meters longer for sure. There you go.
So Loic.
Yeah, he's looking confident.
Yeah, just as Sasha did.
This next little section from this large morpho volume up until the gray volume in the roof, this is a tough little section where you kind of really got to just put the gas on and keep moving.
Just as you say that, he pauses.
Yeah.
He's a strong guy, Luke Timmons. Not easy to take a break there.
It's a tough move there.
So are there any tricks on this men's route that you've used to try and put the climbers off, trying to get them to misread moves?
Up in the top section, it's a little less simple. The bottoms of the routes in Imst are always simple from what I understand, just because of the height of the wall. You need them to move quick, and you can't have them messing around too much. And as I said, we gave them the boulder at the bottom already, so we've already confused them a little. The roof section for the boys is tricky. Same with the girls when they get into the big blue volumes. We tried to hide some holes in behind the backs of the volumes so that from the ground it's a little bit harder to see what maybe the best method is.
As we saw, Takata slipping off there. Just at the point where the women's route changes colour. As I say, holds go from yellow to blue.
Yeah, and from bad to worse. Loic is definitely taking a slow pace here. He looks really solid. I hope that time doesn't become an issue.
Again, making that awkward clip. I remember Sasha fell off. The only other climber we've seen, Sasha Lehman, he fell off just coming round this lip. You can see above Loic.
We've got this big Jabba the Hutt looking volume up there. That's a very committing move coming around the corner. You have a big crossover to the bottom of the volume, and it's not so good. And you have to cut your feet and jump and really haul to the top of the volume, where it is actually not such a bad hold, but you don't know that.
So let's have a look. Talk us through how he needs to do this move.
So he's going to keep his feet on. He's going to cross up left hand to the bottom pinchy part of that thing, right? A little bit higher would be better. And then, he needed to get the right foot on. He needed to jump all the way to the tick. We gave him a big white tick mark. He chose to ignore it, and he paid the price. He looked really good.
Again, he's slowing down just in front of us. Looks slightly unimpressed, although I think he knew we were talking about
He looks
him.
happy.
He gave us a smile as he came down, actually. Yeah, he's made 2 out of 3 semi-finals before today.
He just gets the bottom part of this hold, and he really needed to go right to the top.
So that extra move he did, that kind of bump move,
well,
he could have done without?
Instead of jumping and letting his feet cut and committing to the good part of the hole. He got really stretched out, and then as he tried to bump, his foot cut. He didn't have quite the power to get there, and, you know, well, we saw.
So here's Solène Amoros, France. Also comes from the Alps, a very different part of the Alps, I should point out.
The French team looked good today. The boys for sure, and I think there's several girls up near the top. I know Mathilde and Helene are up there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, very strong round for the French ladies today.
Yeah. And the boys as well. We got Gauthier, Romain, and Thomas all in the top 4. Huh.
Yeah, Gauthier Zupper, who we'll see out last in this evening's semi-final. He topped both routes, the only man to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say 7 French women in this evening's semi-final. So they had a very successful qualifying round.
Yeah, it's solid 30% of the final right there almost. Maybe 28 if you want to get mathematical on me.
I won't be getting mathematical, don't worry. Here's Martin Teklers, Germany. So got our first question on Twitter. Don't forget, if you've got any questions for aspirant IFSC route setter Caleb Thomas, you can get on Twitter, #IFSCWC. Luigi Anzivino. I'm sorry, Luigi, if I've said that wrong. Luigi wants to know, how long does it take to create a World Cup route, a lead route like this?
This event, we were actually very fortunate. The Imst organizers gave us an extra day of route setting. I know generally they get 5, and for this we had 6. So we spent almost 3 days just on the 2 finals routes, which I know is abnormal. I think generally they spend a day and a half or 2 days. We were very lucky. We spent then a day and a half on the semifinal and a day and a half on the qualifiers. So it depends on the route and where it is in the comp. I know that in Imst, they've had a bit of a history of the final ending without any tops, and we wanted the extra day to make sure that the show was as good as possible for the people here in Austria.
Is there a danger as a route setter that you can overthink it? You know, if you've got too long.
Yeah, it's definitely that. Like, we were lucky. We had a super good team, I think, or those other 3 guys are really good, and we're pretty good at keeping each other in check about, you know, maybe we're thinking this through too much, or maybe we need more effort into this section, and hopefully we get the result and the routes show it.
We say it every time, and it's such a fine line for the route setter. You've got the right number of tops, good separation of the climbers, particularly in the semi-finals, as you mentioned.
I did a camp in Central Saanich at the Boulders with Adam Paselnik, the World Climbing Camp, a couple years ago. And one of the things that he talked about that really resonated was he brought up the human element. And no matter what we do as route setters and no matter how much effort we put in, sometimes the humans just come out there and they do human things. They blow a sequence, or they do it different, or they don't try maybe as hard as they could, or they try way more than we thought, and we do our best, but it's sometimes a little just up to chance.
It's a moving target.
Oh. Oh, we got the sun cracking through here now. It's perfect.
You can see on the wall that
it just lit up the right side. Yeah.
Shadows have just appeared on Solène.
Yeah, we had incredible weather here the last couple of days. It was so warm, we were taking little midday breaks between about 2 and 6, going to the lake, trying to cool off a little. Oh yeah, come on.
This will be interesting to see some.
Come on, Solène. Ah, good. Ah, she's looking good. Come on.
Yeah, she stormed out the blocks this season. Solène 13th in Chamonix, but since then it's been 34th and 35th. So this is her second semi-final out of 2 events.
I believe this is the high point now for the girls. She's into the blue holes. She's looking good. She had a good pace to the bottom. Ah, and I cursed her.
As you see, Martin again heading for the roof.
Up in the roof, yep.
So all 3 I was about
You
to say,
cursed him.
Yeah, I know it.
Okay.
We're taking in turns.
We're not allowed to give them any credit anymore, I don't think, Charlie. It's
He was heading for that move through the roof onto the... I like the name for this, the Jabba the Hutt volume. If you're a Star Wars fan, you'll understand.
yeah, the one right on the lip there, I don't know what to describe it as. And that's the first thing that came to mind was Jabba the Hutt.
It's a pretty good description. huge volume.
It's kind of a cool hold, actually. It's
Now
like,
the next two athletes.
it looks like her foot just kind of popped off that cheetah volume there.
See that at the wall in Imst. What a spectacular setting for a climbing World Cup. And we've had a bit of funky weather today, but the sun has come out when we needed it most.
There you go.
Very arty shot.
That's a cool shot. Yeah.
Very arty from our director. We'll just have a quick recap of the results. The three climbers have been so far. So Luke Timmermans ties Sasha Lehmann and Martin Teklas currently in third. And Selene Amaro. So she was actually at the same point as Barbara Backer. We didn't actually see exactly where Barbara slipped off. And Kokora Takata is sitting in third after three climbers. So, Evgeny Zazulin, the big Russian.
Yeah, we were actually taking note of this guy earlier because he's got those Russian fingers that they tend to have where they just bite down on things. And oof.
Only 8 minutes time for this long
If I could
route.
hold like that, maybe I would be climbing instead of route setting. And we got Netta Friedman here from Israel on the women's. She's really cool. I met her a couple years ago as well. She's really nice.
Good to see Israel represented again. We've got Alex Kazanov in the Boulder World Cups, who,
Yeah.
if you've watched all our coverage, you will have seen he's been in the commentary box a few times.
Yeah, it seems like the sport is really coming up in a lot of the countries in that area. It's really cool to see it moving a little bit more outside of Europe and Asia and really kind of branching out.
Well, I can't say I've been, but I hear there's very good outdoor climbing as well. It's there's quite a thriving climbing scene in Israel right now.
Cool, that's awesome. I actually didn't know that.
Add it to the list of places to go. I don't think you'd have any worries about the weather either.
Yeah, I can imagine it's probably warm and dry all of the time.
Yeah, Evgeny, this is the first time we've seen him this year. We didn't see him at all in 2015.
I was gonna say that was one of the things we mentioned earlier. We were kind of like, okay, who is this Evgeny guy? Oh, okay, he's really strong.
No, he's a guy that I think a few people will be keeping an interested eye on.
He's a bigger, stronger guy too for the Lead World Cup. I kind of like watching this body type climb a little. They tend to be a little bit more aggressive, and it can sometimes make for a better show.
He's never been in a Lead World Cup final. Got 10th in Briançon 2011. The highlight of his World Cup career so far.
It's like he's pulling an Alexei Rubtsov. You know how he kind of wasn't in the Boulder World Cup and then kind of came back with a vengeance there this last year. It's like the Russian team is putting their climbers on ice or something.
They've had a very good season in the Boulder World Cup, Russia. And Netta Friedman not doing too badly on the women's route so far, just reaching the point where it really steepens. Both climbers keeping I guess you'd call it a relatively slow pace. Speaking of which, we've got a question on Twitter. Don't forget, hashtag IFSCWC if you want to ask for an IFSC route, says Caleb Thomas. Any questions? Devon wants to know what time would be a good time for both women's and men's routes. And do you at least do you think about time when you're setting the routes?
I can't speak for a lot of the other events, but I know for Imst, time is something we have to be very, very considerate of. As I mentioned, it's very common for the higher end athletes to time out here. I believe Jean Kim timed out here before in final. To be said, I'm not sure what the ideal time would be. If Sean McCall was here, he'd probably be at the top of the route in 3 minutes or something. But I would imagine we'll see most of the climbers falling in that 6 to 8 minute mark. Today I know most of the tops were coming in very close to 6 minutes. Sebastian Helenke actually, when he topped his second qualifier, on the way down, looked at the judge and was hitting his wrist going, am I in time? And I looked at the watch and he was at 5:45. He was very, very close. I think with the extra 6 or 8 meters, I think we'll be up pretty high and close to 8 minutes.
Also on Twitter, Luigi tells me I did a good job of pronouncing his name. I'm pleased with that. It's the first time for everything. Speaking of Sean McCall, by the way, he's not taking part in this World Cup this weekend. If you're wondering why his name is not on the semi-final start list, he's not here in Imst this time.
His brother is getting married.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Not too far from you, I believe.
Oh yeah, they're very close to me. I lived in Vancouver the last couple of years, and I've just remigrated back to Vancouver Island, the city of Victoria. The weather's a little nicer and the pace is a little slower.
Evgeny, you probably just saw him on the left of your screen, just slipped off heading up towards that roof section. As I say, he's not a climber we've seen much of recently.
As I said, that section is where it really starts to ramp up. I'm hoping we see a few more climbers fall in that section. It would be good for the result.
Netta.
It's looking comfortable, yeah.
She's looking comfortable, yeah. I'm just worried about time because what you maybe can't make out from your pictures is that she's probably only, I guess, halfway up the route. And I'm pretty sure she's been climbing for more than 4 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like if you're not into the blue section by 3.5, 4 minutes, you're definitely going to be tempting fate.
So Thomas Ravenel?
Chile? Yeah, cool.
Yes, from Chile.
Again, so cool to see these climbers coming from these not as normal countries for the Climbing World Cup. Seeing Israel and Chile on the wall at the same time, I think is really, really cool.
This is his second semi-final this year. So, saw him in Chamonix.
This move is really tough. She just did that really well, but you can see she was grimacing. That little section is these couple of very, very tensiony little crossovers right in a row, and I feel like we'll be separating the people in 8th to maybe 14th place in that section. We're gonna get some falls there.
Let's have another look at this. It looks as if she knew she almost had nothing left. She got her hand onto the hole, but you'd have to say it never quite looked like she was going to hold on to it. Thomas Ravenel not hanging about in this lower section. As I say, he was 24th in Chamonix since then, no semi-finals, 38th in Villars and 48th in Briançon.
Jetzt gleich auf der Kletterbühne. 4 seconds to preparing has been closed for next lady.
Just preparing for this move right onto the torpedoes. Just be interesting to see now here how dynamically he does this. It's one of the smaller climbers in the semi-finals.
He's solid. Look at this. He's
no problem.
Jugs, right?
Sie hat fast überhaupt nicht mehr auf diese Route geschaut.
And the second French climber we've seen this evening, Noen Arc. As I say, 7 female French climbers in this evening's semi-final. What a fantastic round they had in the qualifiers.
Yeah, she looked really strong earlier too, actually. She must be one of the younger, maybe French girls kind of coming up to the program there. Yeah, 2000. Whew. I didn't even know people were born in the year 2000.
Yeah, 16 years old.
So it must be, she must be first year Youth A, so it must be her first year on the circuit. She set a Yeah, she's been around the Youth World Cup, the youth scene for a while.
Yeah, she's had a pretty good start to her
Yeah.
World Cup career. Didn't quite make the semi-finals, not too far off. 32nd in Chamonix, 34th in Villars, and then made the semi-finals in Briançon.
I think it takes a long time for them to even get into the process of being on the circuit and doing the competitions. It's incredible, actually, that at 16 she's making some semi-finals. She should be very happy with herself. Oh, look, he's doing it. So, Thomas, we thought about this rest. We were like, some of these savvy climbers might do the splits in here and get a very, very nice no-hands rest, and he is milking it right now. It's smart, very smart climbing.
Again, time could be an issue, though. He's not that far up. He's 6 clips up, which in Imst is not a long way, so he doesn't want to rest for too long, and he gets moving already.
Yeah, hopefully with the good shake, he knows that he needs to turn the jets on until the gray volume in the roof, and it looks like that might be his plan. He will inevitably prove me wrong, as they do, but...
No, he's
yeah,
really picked the pace up now.
Yeah, come on. Smart guy, or good coaching, good route reading. When I work with athletes back in Canada, I'm always trying to tell them, like, this is how you should know you move slow, this is how you should know you move fast, because pacing is so important. We put thought into this, and the climbers need to as well.
Yeah, Thomas really picked the pace up here.
If his plan so far is exactly what we wanted them to do.
So will it pay off?
He might do a little chalk here on this hold, and then hopefully bim, 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 bim again. Oh, Adam, come on. There you go. Good. Okay. Whew. That was scary, eh?
It'd be good to see this good climber rewarded with a high score from Thomas, because he's, as you rightly said, he judged it to perfection. We're just going to see the results top left of your screen. Keep an eye on that as we watch the action.
Come on, Thomas. He's starting to look a little pumped, though, now.
Yeah, his movement's just becoming slightly more hurried. We said he had a good
pace.
On.
Good.
No win. Still only the 5th climber out on this women's route. She hails from Cholet, just near Nantes, northwest France.
She's actually got a watch on, which I think you see a lot of the climbers do, even more so maybe in Imst, and I'm sure she'll be checking that fairly regularly. Come on, Thomas. It's looking good.
So Thomas is now on to the very steep of this part of this wall here.
Come on. There you go.
Heading towards...
Don't stop. Keep going. Come on, man.
I've got aspirant IFSC route setter Caleb Thomas alongside me. He helped to set these routes. He knows how they should be done. Somehow, clever use of his feet there. And you can see the huge volume just underneath our IFSC World Cup logo.
Good.
That's where he's heading. He should go left hand first.
The little... No, go.
Now, do you think he should have clipped first?
No.
Okay.
I think he should have jumped right away.
So that move there, seen a few climbers fall foul of that. He's back down, he's a couple of meters away from us, breathing very heavily. I think that took a lot out of him. I think he was absolutely on his limit.
No, that was good.
And we just, Caleb just got an approving nod from Thomas. I think he enjoyed that route. Just saying thanks very much as we concentrate on Norway.
Yeah, the men's semi I think is actually one of the funner routes. It really lets the boys be boys. They get to go out there and climb like men, and it's fun. They like doing that.
It's burly. No one so far very controlled. No
She's
sign
looking
of,
strong.
yeah, no sign of fatigue on her face or in her movements.
She's got that kind of Delaney Miller, super slow, super smooth style. It's nice. Mina Markovic-esque. Be really cool seeing her coming up through the next couple of years.
Yeah, she's definitely going to be a climber worth keeping an eye on. And you see there, in the bottom right of your screen, Sergei Bigtayev, another strong Russian. So Norwin, again, just to give you some idea of where Norwin is, you see the large thumb-shaped volume that's half in and half out of your screen. That's the steepest part of the women's route.
There you go.
That's a good shot of it.
So she had a slightly better method, I think, than Netta. I believe Netta went up with the right hand, which is an option, but not a great one. This next little bit here, coming through the pinch, is tricky. Then they get an okay edge that we think some of the girls will try to rest on. I think she falls into the category of girls who will want to rest on this edge coming up.
Russia again, very controlled up to here.
Yeah, she's looking fantastic. Looks like she's just going to keep moving. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
good.
This is comfortably the best performance we've seen so far in the women's semi-final.
So she's getting into the real meat of the route here. It's very sequency. You kind of got to move all your hands at the right time. Just come in and
just slips off.
We thought that the better method here might be to keep bumping the left hand through these pinches and keep the right hand underneath. You go left, left, and then come back in, and might be a little easier. If easy could ever be the correct term, right?
If you we'll just have another look at Norwin here, actually. She climbed really well up to this point.
Yeah, she did very well.
If you're just coming home from a day's climbing, or maybe an afternoon in a beer garden, we are live in Imst, one of the stalwarts of the IFSC circuit. Beautiful evening here. We've got a great view of the Carvendo Mountains. Some fantastic climbing already. I think Norwin Arc, the highlights so far. Plenty of climbers still to come. 26 men, 26 women. IFSC Aspirant Routes has Caleb Thomas is alongside me. Don't forget, get yourselves on Twitter, hashtag IFSCWC. If you've got any questions for Caleb or any observations to make about this evening's semi-final. Another question for you, Caleb. Yeti wants to know, what is the future in lead setting? How do you think setting will change in the future? I mean, regarding holds and styles.
Tricky question. It's hard to see the future. I think the Olympic decision is going to actually change a lot of the way that we have the route set. I think with different climbers starting to focus on different disciplines, it might change the way that we have to think about the routes. With regards to holds and volumes, that's a whole other art form that, as much as I use these tools to create, that's a different mindset that these guys are going to come up with all kinds of new stuff. I think if you compare what's on the wall to 10 years ago, we've obviously come a long way. I think we're just going to keep seeing cooler and cooler holds coming out and different hybrids of ideas.
Just out onto the women's route, we've got Salome Roman. Chatted to her and Brianson. There's a short interview with her. If you scroll down the IFSC Facebook page, it'll be down there somewhere. It's still on there. I saw it today. So go to the IFSC Facebook page, check that out. Sergei Bigtayev, we haven't mentioned him much yet, but he's suddenly making quite good time. He's setting quite a slow pace low down where it's quite technical, only just off vertical. But he's suddenly started to motor up this section.
Yeah, he's just getting into the meat of the route here. I find as much as we try to make the bottom of the routes interesting to watch, once you've kind of seen 8 people go through the same section, you're like, you want to see this part, you know, where they start
Absolutely.
fighting and they start getting pumped, and this is the better show up here anyway.
Keep an eye on top left of your screen. We're about to see the results come up.
So it'd be good for the route setting team if someone would manage to wrangle that Jabba the Hutt volume. We were lucky enough to get a pretty good ranking out of qualifiers, but we want someone to get their second hand on that hold and get the 45.
Yeah, just to confirm, actually, if you weren't following our qualifiers online, Anna Verhoeven was the only female climber to top a route. She topped one, she topped qualification route A. Let's just have another look.
See, he took the bait. So in the roof, there's these two volumes. The first one is this one that we call the Raspberry. The second one is this really cool Morpho volume. It has two holds on it, a little orange jib that we've been referring to as the Sugar, because first it was this little cube, and it's not anymore, but we're still calling it the Sugar. The second hold is really good. The move makes you want to move with your right hand to the little jib, but that's a bad idea. This is what he did. But really, you need to do the uncomfortable move left hand first. Then you get the better hold. It's easier to recover.
So on the steepest part of the men's route, still a huge amount of route reading required. Still got to make decisions despite the fatigue.
It looked like Salome was going to go two hands there and do a big double dyno. The Austrians would have loved this. It would have been good for the show.
Of course, the last World Cup in Briançon, that was her home World Cup. She actually hails from Briançon. And she's really short, Salome. It's, I remember the first time I met her, everybody, you know she's short from seeing her on TV, but she really is small. But she just makes it work. She climbs so well.
Yeah, I think there's a few girls in the semi that are on the smaller end of the spectrum. Dinara Fakritanova is definitely there. I was a little worried, actually, she might not reach the start hold of one of the qualifiers earlier. It was no problem, but a little bit of sweat rolled down my brow. And then obviously Jean Kim is a little on the smaller side as well. These climbers do well. I think the smaller climbers just need to adapt to their body type, just like the bigger climbers do. You know, climbing is for everybody, and I think it just changes the method in which you maybe approach the route. Salome also looked really great this morning. I thought she looked really, really solid.
Yeah, she climbed really well.
Yeah. Confident climber. Yeah. Which I think is actually really the key to climbing well at her height, is to be very committed, very aggressive.
Yeah, she climbed really well on qualifying route A.
Yeah.
Didn't get on quite so well with B, but she's done enough on A to get her through into the semi-finals.
A was like a pure power endurance route. The moves were maybe not as hard as the moves on Route B, but they were very consistent, no resting. It was really just, you got to get up and go. Route B, because everyone at home didn't see it, we actually started the girls on a slab, which is maybe the worst thing to come out and see when you see there's a slab at the bottom of your route. It's not fun. And then from there it got really hard, really aggressive climbing on big fat pinches, which is again not always favorited by a lot of the female climbers. I think Route B, it was more susceptible to slipping off the route by mistake, while Route A was, you're more likely to get tired. But the French don't really seem to get tired. They have great endurance.
No, it doesn't seem to bother them too much, actually, does it?
No, that seems to be why they might do so well in Imst. I know Romain won here last year, and I think that their consistent technical endurance-based climbing style really suits the wall here.
We've got the first Austrian male out into the season semi-final, Mats Rudiger.
Yeah, we got a little bit more spice coming out of the audience here. They're getting a little bit more lively with an Austria on the wall.
They're getting behind him. Comes to Eben. If you don't know your Austrian geography, that's about 50 k's south of Salzburg, and Salome Roman slips off, and that is a shame. I thought she could possibly take us place in the final, actually, Salome.
The move where I believe she fell, they have to really get their weight on their left heel. It's a very slippery left heel hook, very uncomfortable, not a fun move by any means, and it's definitely a spot where I think we'll probably see a couple other girls kind of fall in that range. Yeah, Max is looking strong here. Well, maybe he was, and that was close.
There's been a long enough
what
gap
are you
now.
doing?
If he
Oh
falls
my god.
If he falls off now, there's been a long enough gap. It's not your fault.
He literally just chalked up on like what is the worst thing ever. It's like a one finger half pad jib thing with a thumb catch, and he is making it look like a jug, apparently.
You have to say, it would be a surprise if Max was to take an early lead here. 31st in Chamonix, 57th in Milan, 36th
Okay,
in
Max.
Briançon. So this is his first semi-final. So
Come
far,
on, come on. Oh,
I was about to say this is his first semi-final of 2016, although he did make a final last year, 8th place in Tours in Belgium. Let's have another look at this. So he gets the left hand.
he lets the body come out before he jumps. And if you let the body come out without jumping, the foot blows in your harness. You just really need to go.
And that's what we see. Once that left foot came off, momentum took him the rest of the way.
I think as we get a little bit more down the order here, some of these very confident climbers will just get the first part of the Jabba the Hutt and just keep moving.
So let's have a look what happened to Salome.
Okay, so she was past the technical heel that I talked about, so I apologize for that. It looked like she maybe just missed the good part of the hole or didn't quite get into the back of it.
That's, I know all things are relative, but that's quite a reasonable hole she's going to, hey?
Yeah, again, as you said, relative to the difficulty of these routes, it is one of the slightly maybe better holes in this section, but, you know, we're still talking a half pad, slightly in-cut edge on a fairly steep wall after 35 moves of hard climbing, so. Oh, we've got some farm music on right now.
Yeah, the DJ is playing.
Oh, we've got Cotton Eye Joe.
Cotton Eye Joe, yeah.
It's like the worst wedding. The music has actually been really good here all day. This is the first maybe misstep.
It's quite funny actually. We're on the stage here. We're just down and left at the bottom, just out of shot, bottom left of your screen there. And so all the audience are looking right at us, and the music's been really good. And a few times I have been caught. I don't want to say dancing. I mean that would be generous, but sort of moving in time with the music, and then you turn around and realize actually you stand in front of the crowd.
I've been absolutely dancing multiple times. Yes, the music's been great. This Cotton Eye Joe is definitely maybe he went to the bathroom or something and it went autoplay and the wedding playlist came on, and
that's it. He's running back now. This is all his deepest, darkest Spotify secrets coming out now. He's just left it untouched.
Aunt Margaret is up there on the hill having a hoedown. It's
you guys in the west of Canada, this is the sort of thing you listen to all the time, isn't it?
I don't know what western part of Canada you've been to, but it maybe is not the same western part I live in.
I went to Yellowknife, and I don't think Cotton Eye Joe had made it up there, actually. They're still waiting for modern music. And
you've been to Yellowknife?
I've been to Yellowknife, yeah.
Well, wow. How many down jackets did you bring for this? They come on the planes there. It's like the pillows. Instead of getting a pillow on the flight, they just give you a down jacket. Thankfully, where I live, it's generally 20 degrees and sunny most days.
It was pretty warm and sunny. The mosquitoes are the biggest problem. We went in the summer. We did a canoeing trip. I still remember in KFC in Yellowknife eating a family bucket to myself at the end of a 2-week canoe trip. One of my One of my proudest moments.
I'm surprised you lived to tell the tale. I can't.
I felt ill for days, but it was so good.
Yeah, I'd imagine you do. I can't remember the last time I put KFC in my body. It's.
I think that was probably it, to be honest. You see on the left here, Kichiro Kuranaga. Now he wears these vertex sleeves on his forearms. It's a functional round knitted sleeve.
I actually had these on when we were forerunning. Paul had a pair, and we were getting very tired, and he was like, put on the vertex, and it's actually pretty cool. They actually really help your arms recover. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's all about muscle compression. As I say, Kichiro, the only climber we've seen so far who wears them. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head if we have seen other climbers so far. This is certainly the first in this semi-final here in Imst.
Yeah, I'd like to get myself a pair. Maybe if he does well on the route, he'll like me, and I'll be able to get myself a set.
On the right, we've got Rebecca Carmin of Slovenia, one of many, many strong Slovenians.
The Slovenian program is incredible.
I know the Slovenian national anthem very well this year.
Yeah, we were actually discussing earlier the long and illustrious stream of strong Slovenian women that have made their way through the World Cup. It's they've been dominating the circuit since it started, really. Been well before the generation of Maya and Mina. And obviously the future is pretty bright over there. Our gym in Central Stanic is pretty good friends with the Slovenian team. They came out for the climbing camp last year. It was cool meeting those guys, Domin and Mina and Maya. They're so nice. A lot of the Canadian athletes and Delaney from the US were just training there actually before this comp.
Yeah, we had Delaney Miller in the commentary box in Chamonix. Amazing to think that was 6 weeks ago now.
Oh, that's crazy. Jeez, Sham was 6 weeks ago. That's my dream as a route setter actually for the Lead World Cup, is to set Chamonix. I feel like it's maybe the crown jewel of the circuit a little bit.
Certainly an amazing place to get the lead season underway. As I say, Imp's not far behind though. I really can't explain how good the view is here. We saw a glimpse of it earlier.
I did a little post to the social media from the lift with the view, and tried to make a joke about I always wanted an office with a view, and because you're just up here and you're setting routes on this amazing wall, and there's mountains and sunshine, and it's just cows are mooing in the field. It's perfect.
You certainly had a good view of your office this week, that's for sure.
All right, Kachiro's getting into the meat of the route here. We got the Japanese team yelling at him from the stands. It's
yeah, you might have got that through our microphones.
We're in
between the crowd and the wall, and
he's looking good.
So
the Japanese are dynamic. Come on, Kichiro. Go, go, go. Come on, come on, go. Oh, this is a good method. Whoa.
He's just about held it.
Oh, my God. Holy macaroni. This is crazy. So, the other three boys might kill me, but this was not necessarily a method that we expected. This was crazy high step to the foothold. Watch my hands grab things. My God.
Let's have a look at that. So somehow he stuck that move.
Oh my Lord. If that's not an advertisement for those Vertex sleeves, I don't know what is, because that was incredible. This is... Wow. Look, he holds this. This is nuts.
I really thought he was going to hold on to that.
I can't believe he hung on as long as he did. Well... oh, yeah, sorry everybody. Where I'm from in Canada is a small island called Newfoundland, where we're all very loud, and apparently I'm yelling into the microphone now that the climbing's getting exciting.
No, it's fine. It's great to hear, but my ears just about exploded.
Sorry, Charlie.
It's fine. We just made some minor adjustments to the volume settings of my headphones.
Yeah.
And all is well with the world. No, it's great to hear. Keep it up. So that's large volume, stopping all the male climbers so far. Nobody's been past it. Here's a man who might be.
If anyone's got holding power and pulling power, it is this guy right here. We had this little jumpstart campus move at the bottom of the men's qualifier number 1, and of course they were all doing it, and it's not so hard for these guys, but the way that Romain went through this section was just like, I don't know, watching a truck drive through a house. It was just boom.
He's great to watch.
Oh, incredible. And he's been on the circuit, again, like, forever.
14 years, I think, off the top of my
I
head.
was going to say,
I check now.
I've been setting now for 12 years, and I feel like he's been climbing, or he's definitely been on the World Cup circuit longer than I've been setting. I love the way the Japanese team climbs, eh? They're just so well.
His first World Cup Ramonnet, it turns out it was 15 years. Yeah, already social media erupting to holy macaroni.
I think I actually said holy macaroni, which is me trying really hard not to say words I'm not supposed to.
Well, there's one main rule in the commentary box, and you stuck to that.
Yeah, we've still got another several climbers to go.
Stick with holy macaroni. I like it.
Okay, cool.
That could become one of our quotes of the season. In our highlights package at the end of the year, we might have to include that.
I remember the first Toronto World Cup when Sean McCall flashed all the qualies and then all the semis and Boulder 1 and finals, and the commentator said, if Sean McCall flashes this next boulder, I will fight a polar bear. And that to me was maybe the greatest thing I'd ever heard on the live stream.
Well, we've got a famous TV presenter in England called Gary Lineker, and he said that if Leicester City won the Premier League in the football last year, he would present the highlights show in his underwear at the start of this season. He did it. It was last week. He did it. Fair play. As you see there, men's results coming up on the top left of your screen. Yeah, he did it. So I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm not making any predictions, and I'm not promising to do anything in my underwear. It's probably for my benefit and the viewers, I can assure you. So we watch Ramonnet. Very smooth so far. Now heading up into the slightly steeper section on this men's wall.
All my friends now are making fun of me for saying macaroni.
This is one of the glaring downsides of being connected to social media during our live streams. The co-commentators get an awful lot of abuse from their friends. I just turn mine off. It makes life easier.
They wouldn't be my friends if they weren't abusing me.
No, of course. Ramonnet, you can see that's quite a stretch for him, but
most moves are a bit of a stretch for Ramonnet.
But he makes it work.
Does he ever?
Got Evgenia Kasparkova out on the women's route. So far, going, you fear, slightly too slowly. Hopefully, we'll pick the pace up. Very controlled so far, but as I say, time always an issue here in Imst. The wall is huge, the biggest one we go to on our lead World Cups. Yeah, so just to recap, we were talking about how long Ramonet's been on the World Cup circuit. 14 years was my off the top of my head guess. It's actually 14 years since his first win. He's been doing World Cups for 15 years.
Wow. 21 wins?
21 World Cup wins. European Championships, World Championship, Monaco Rockmaster. He is as motivated as ever, though. I had a chat with him, I have to say, via a translator. My Catalan, unfortunately, is not what it might be, but through a translator, I had a chat to him in Chamonix. He's as motivated as ever. He's got his eye on the World Cup, World Championships again, Paris. He's not ready to stop winning just yet.
Oh no, he's got lots of gas in the tank, I think.
Yeah, it's for whatever reason not really been his season this year.
It's so up and down on the World Cup. It's, you know, you can prepare and train all you want, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way. I feel like we'll see Raman competing against his grandkids. He'll be here forever, I think, and he'll probably be beating his grandkids.
They'll have to be pretty strong if he's not, yeah. Best place finisher 13th so far this year, Brianson. Although, sorry to mention again the Boulder World Cups if you are only a lead fan, but during the Boulder live streams we were chatting about the fact that some of the climbers will be trying to peak for Paris, and the World Championships. They may not be at the physical peak for all the World Cups, and they may be aiming for the Paris World Championships. So Ramone, you never know, may have more than one eye on the World Championships.
I know that
may explain why he's not been quite at his best this year.
that's definitely the case with a lot of the athletes. I know that some of the athletes that are training in Central Saanich, that's their goal. Their eyes set on Paris. One of the route setters here for this event actually is the chief for the comp in Paris, Jens Brannick from the Czech Republic. Really cool working with that guy.
Just to let you know, Evgenia, just off the women's route, not high enough I would have thought to challenge for a final place. We'll confirm shortly, and in the meantime we'll follow Ramone, calm as you like, through the route. So now he's going to head up left hand first onto that huge volume.
I feel like Ramone could try to use the same beta as Kachiro.
So Kachiro used his feet quite
He brought his
cleverly
feet up. Yeah.
And Ramone did the same.
See?
One of the advantages of being shorter, and he makes it work, and he's going to be the first climber, I'm sure, to progress past this volume, and he looks well in his comfort zone.
Allez, Ramone.
Very calm. So this is the furthest anyone's got in this men's route so far. Bit of a smile cracking onto the face of
There you go.
Ramone there. So he's
looking
already
good.
he's in the lead so far.
So this head wall section for the boys is, you know, it's the head wall section for the boys at the semifinal at the World Cup. It's monster. Hopefully we'll get some good shots of the holds. They're bad.
So Ramone, just to give you some idea of how far up he is, you can see the top, perfect timing. Top left of your screen, there is the top, so he's not a million miles off.
He's about 6 holds, 6 moves or 7 moves from the top, depending on his method.
So cleverly used his feet there coming through the roof. Helps. That's one of the benefits of being a compact climber like Ramone.
Yep.
Get your feet up. It really made the most of him. That move that's stopped some very strong climbers already didn't really trouble him whatsoever.
He also, I thought I felt some juice come out of that hole and land on my head when he was pinching it too. He might have broken the volume on us there with his left hand. Come on, Ramone.
It'd be great to see Ramone in the final again.
He's looking so solid.
We would love to see Ramone
Come
back
on.
in the final.
Oh! Come on. Oh, he's comfortable. Oh, yeah. Look, see?
And that is a top from Ramone.
That is a 21-time World Cup winner right there.
Well,
The Austrian crowd is so psyched right now.
We haven't seen him at his best this year, but he seems to be very much back to his best with that.
Look at that hold his right hand is on.
And it's a terrible hold.
He might as well be grabbing the wall.
So Ramone, to give you some idea, he's just lowered off. We can see our commentary position just there by that yellow tube. It's actually so far back that the live venue MC had to pull him back in to get him to reach the stage. And we just have a quick recap of what happened to Evgenia Kazbekova.
Now, what's interesting here with the Imst venue that I know is different from some other venues is that isolation is actually pretty far away. It's a couple-minute walk. They're actually driving the climbers down from ISO. So in most situations, we'd actually be nervous now that the other finalists know that they could top the semifinal route because they may have heard the crowd yell, but might not be the case here in Imst. It'll be interesting to see if the strategy for the next few climbers changes because of this.
Yeah, the isolation area here in Imst is quite a long way away. So as you say, the climbers might not have quite the same idea of what their previous competitors have done.
I'd be lying if I would just say that we weren't a little bit nervous that we have a top so early in the semifinal. The goal generally for semis is none or one. But Ramone is definitely known for pulling special things out of the box sometimes. So I'll bite my tongue until it's not good anymore.
If it was anyone else, you might be slightly more nervous, but
yeah.
As I say, 21 World Cup wins. Don't feel too bad just because Ramone tops it. And Risa Ota on the women's route. Keep an eye top left of your screen for the men's results. Ramone takes an early lead. Big tie between second and fifth. And we've got Risa Ota on the women's route. She's just first change of angle from the lower panel onto the second panel. So Norwen Ark takes an early lead in the women's event. Out in the men's event, we've got Ruben Fernenberg.
Riese seemed to move to the bottom of this route really quick, very authoritative.
Yeah, it seemed very calm body language thus far. Not troubled up to this point. She's someone that's been on the edge of a final place this year. 10th in Briançon, 11th in Villars, 25th in Chamonix, but wouldn't be a huge surprise if she was to take a final place.
Oh yeah, she's definitely in the realm of someone who should be tipping into the finals here for sure.
She made the final here in 2014 in Imst. Can she make her first final of 2016? Comes into this in good form. A few weeks ago, she was 4th in the Asian Continental Championships in China.
Beautiful pictures on the video wall. Fantastische Bilder hier auf
When you
der
think how
Videowall.
strong Team Japan and Team Korea
Oh yeah.
are,
No, coming
that's
fourth
quite
is
a result.
It's a great result. I'm very fond of the way the Japanese team climbs. Maybe my favorite climbing style. So smooth, but so decisive all at the same time. Never afraid to go, you know, it's nice.
Well, they have just won the national ranking overall for the Boulder World Cups, Team Japan. Miho Nanaka took second place overall. Tomoe Narasaki took first and Kokoro Fuji also second, so 3
And
Japanese climbers in the top 2 in the men's and women's.
I would imagine with the Olympic announcement as well that we're just going to see that team get stronger and stronger and stronger.
We will be going to Tokyo in 2020. The great news, sport climbing accepted in Tokyo 2020 into the Olympics. What we don't know yet is what exact format we will have. We do know that it will be all 3 disciplines, speed, lead and boulder. And that there will be 20 male athletes, 20 female athletes, all competing for 1 gold medal. So it would be 1 medal across all 3 disciplines. But the format, how many days each section will take up, and the exact weighting of the events, we don't yet know. Stay tuned, we will find out in March of next year. The good news is it has been accepted. We will be going to Tokyo in 2020. And as you say, I suspect Team Japan will be even stronger then. Ruben Fernenberg, lucky this isn't speed climbing, he's catching Rita Rota up here. Here he comes, just emerging onto your screen. We had him on the bottom right of the screen, but he's joined Risa and saved our director a job. So I've got IFSC aspirant route setter Caleb Thomas alongside me. Caleb, question here, not from social media, from our social media man, Joe. Hi Joe. He wants to know, these light up holes, does Caleb think they will be used more and more?
No.
Just explain what light up holes are.
I'm not sure. I've seen a couple companies releasing holds that light up. Oh, I know. Yeah, there's a prominent European company that has been trying to push this idea where the holds will light up different colors to mark the routes. Maybe we'll see. It looks cool, that's for sure. I have no plan to spend any of the budget at my gym on these light up holds. That's maybe a question for 10 years from now. We'll see where this goes.
As you see Risa Rota there, she just came off too low, I would have thought, almost certainly to make the final. Ramane leads in the men's competition. Kichiro Kuranaga, fantastic watching him climb, had a real battle onto that large volume just past the roof.
Second race for the great climbing Joe.
no one art leads away in the women's competition. So a good split in the women's competition. So you see Reese Rosa there, 42 plus. Suspect that won't be enough to make the final. Currently sitting fourth, but so many climbers still to come. You guess that won't be enough. A great shot there, very arty from the director. The quick draws hanging with the peaks of the Carvendel behind. Carvendel's this incredible mountain range. If you ever get the chance to go in it, if you're ever visiting Austria or you come to a World Cup in Imst or Innsbruck, get yourself into the Carvendel. It's an amazing range.
And on the woman's side from France,
A couple of weeks ago did a bike ride through the Carvendel, and I'm not really a mountain biker. I've got a 20-year-old mountain bike that was pretty low tech when it was brought out 20 years ago, and for some reason I thought a 70k bike ride through the Carvendel would be a good place to start my mountain biking career, but it actually ended up having a great day. A bit longer than expected. Just made it home before head torches were required. But yeah, what a range. Fantastic.
I know I wish that I had a little bit more time here to explore, but gotta bolt more plastic things to a plywood wall somewhere.
It's a grafter's life, route setting.
Yeah, it's miserable, eh? Yeah, fly all the way to Imst to make playgrounds for people. Terrible.
That's what I like about you though, Caleb. You don't complain. Get flown over to Austria, to a beautiful place, fed and watered and accommodated, and get to learn off all these cool guys, but you don't grumble. That's what I like. You don't complain.
I don't know, I might have been grumbling the other day when my skin was worn down to the bone, but I know anytime you kind of think maybe, ow, my back hurts, you turn around in the harness a little bit and you see what we're looking at here and you go, oh, well, okay, whatever, it's fine.
So we've got Masahiro Higuchi here on the men's route, and then bottom right of your screen, Léa Merigot of France, and the women's. And for people that would like to get into route setting, what would be your advice? Just get down the wall and volunteer?
Yeah, that's definitely the starting point. I always say to everybody that the first hold that you put on the wall is the hardest one to get the chance to. It can be sometimes tough to crack in. I was very fortunate to start in a smaller town where I could be 14 years old and really annoying until the point where they let me do this. But yeah, just, be around your local gym, try to meet your route setters, maybe go climbing with them a little, and then, just ask. And if you're persistent and you're passionate, someone will take note eventually.
And as a climber, what can you do whilst climbing to educate yourself about route setting? Do you try and think about what route setters have done and how they've tried to trick you?
It's a tough question for me because I started route setting around the same time that I started climbing, so I've always viewed what I'm climbing from the route setter's perspective. But I think, yeah, especially for a competition climber, I see a lot of value in learning to route set, or even just going up in the lift or setting some boulders with another route setter and just kind of seeing what's going through their mind. I know that at the boulders, one of my goals for this year is to work with some of our international athletes in the lift to try to develop their skills. We also, our gym is attached to a high school, so I'm hoping that we can also start working some route setting into the high school curriculum for those kids, so we can provide an avenue for these kids to get started, since it is such an interesting career to get going in.
Masahiro, not really troubled and keeping up a very good pace so far. A man well worth keeping an eye on. Also fourth in the Asian Continental Championships, we mentioned it a minute ago.
Yeah, he's looking very fit.
Yeah, he's already been in 2 finals this year. Branson and Vila. It's only Chamonix where he missed out, 13th there, and lucky for some.
Let a little power scream there. Come on.
Come on, Masahiro. Now, the only person so far to progress past this large volume that you can see up and right of Masahiro is Ramone. So Masahiro will lead with the left hand onto the volume.
Come on.
Hasn't quite got the best part of it.
He's got it. Oh, so close.
Yeah, he didn't quite have the best part of the hold there.
If I could give a tip to all the young climbers out there, if a hold has a tick mark on it, just grab the tick mark. Because we are trying to tell you, grab this part, not that other part that maybe looks good, or the part over there, the part with the gigantic white mark on it that says, hey, hold me, right there. It's like...
Well, Masahiro, he's only about 10 meters from us. Hopefully he heard you. Leia Marigo, she just came off the women's route relatively low down. She won't be taking a place in the finals. As we can see the route setting team, there's most of them in the blue t-shirts, just at the back of the shop.
There's a conversation happening there with the head judge and the JP. So we'll see what's maybe unfolding over there.
JP, for those of you not familiar with the terminology, jury president, that's fine. We see them there again. So
really great team here, actually, for this event. Ole from Norway is our head judge, and Matthias from, I believe, Slovenia.
Slovenia, correct.
Really cool guys, super nice. I was talking to Ole for a while earlier. He's a really, really cool guy. Yeah, it looks like there is maybe something going on here. I'll see if we can maybe get some information.
I'm going to dispatch Caleb to go and find out what's going on. So if you hear the sound of a pair of microphone hitting our table, it's because Caleb's just taken his headset off. He's going to go and investigate exactly what's going on. In the meantime, we will watch Maëlle Bonzon. Also France, what a qualifying round they had. Dinara factored and over is out on the women's route. You see it there, bottom right of your screen. Just have a quick recap of the results. Top left of your screen, Ramane takes an early lead. Top the route. Only person to figure out so far how to do and stick that final move through the roof onto the huge volume.
So, Bauerbach, meine Damen, immer noch unter den Top 8.
See their women's result. Nolwenn Ark leads away ahead of Salome Roman. Salome at the time, it didn't look like she would have done enough, but provisionally sitting in second place, you never know. Could be enough. So if you're just tuning in, been out climbing, or maybe having a late afternoon beer, we're live in Imst, beautiful town in the Vorarlberg region of Austria. IFSC aspirant route setter Caleb Thomas was alongside me, just nipped off to find out what the jury president, chief judge and route setters were discussing. And with perfect timing, Caleb's back. I'll just let him put his headset on. Caleb, what can you tell us?
Oh, absolutely nothing. There's nothing actually going on. There's no appeal process or anything. They were just having a little discussion with the judges about the method that was being used up there by Raman to get to this section.
So it's actually just a social chat, and there was us worried what was going on.
Absolutely. I know. Generally, when you see all the blue shirts huddled together in a corner, it's some kind of news is about to come, but...
Okay, Caleb. We've got Dinara factored in over on the wall on the women's route. Not so far, you think, climbing quite quick enough. She will speed up through this next section, I'm sure. Maëlle Bonzon, meanwhile.
She's a great climber. She's probably seeing what the pace of this route is. She knows what she's in for.
Yeah, plenty of experience for Dinara.
I like watching Dinara climb. I think she climbs pretty well. She's really nice. She's kind of always smiling when she's not on the wall. Got some good music going here now.
She actually made her World Cup debut here in Imst in 2008.
This should maybe be a good wall for her. I know that from what I've seen in years of watching the live stream, she's pretty good with the endurance-based climbing, the more resistance climbing, so Imst should be a good place for her.
Should our wall. 22 meters here, and Imst is a monster.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on Mael. He's not made a final this year, 17th in VLAR. His best results so far. So this is the second semi-final from 2 events. And we have a question for aspirant IFSC route setter Caleb Thomas. From Mr. Mix, he wants to know, how does the route setting scene overseas differ from the route setting scene here in Canada?
I know who this Mr. Mix is, actually. He's a route setter from Edmonton, I believe.
Are you willing to answer his question? Do you guys get on?
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's a really nice guy.
It's not route setting walls, it's not some big
No,
rivalry.
no.
Okay, cool.
It's just funny because he just commented on something to me, and now he's writing stuff. The route setting scene is quite different. I would say the biggest thing is actually that the holds are very different and the walls are very different. The wall that we have at the Boulders, I believe, is the biggest wall that we have over there. I know Stone Summit in Atlanta has a pretty serious wall as well. But in Europe, the 18 to 20 meter wall is like the normal here. So that's a huge difference right out of the gate. I've set with Mr. Mix before for competitions, and generally we need to make the routes wander back and forth a lot more to get the number of moves in. When here we can really just go straight up. That allows us to make the routes just more power endurance based and stuff like this. The holds and volumes are also all very, very different, which I think there's a different style here. The holds in Europe are, I don't want to say less comfortable, but I want to say less comfortable than maybe the North American holds, but in a way that's good. I think the holds here, you actually get a little bit stronger on these holds because they force you to really dig into them, while the North American holds are built to fit your hand properly. I think for competition climbing, the Europeans are further ahead maybe than we are in North America.
There you go, Mr. Mix. He also says, am I getting a hint of an East Coast accent from the Canadian route setter?
Yes, it's because Mr. Mix knows that I'm from Newfoundland, which is as far east as you can go in Canada. And
I mean, you're basically European. It's that far east.
I don't know if maybe we're as refined as the Europeans, but where I'm from is a really cool, small little area. It's beautiful there. The people are very, very nice and very unique culture. I had a bit more of an accent maybe when I was younger, but I've been on the West Coast now for 5 or 6 years, and it generally takes a few adult beverages now for my accent to expose itself.
Don't worry, Mr. Mix, we have no adult beverages in the commentary box this evening. Behind the wall, on the other hand, is another matter. They can wait. Dinara factored it over. Make your way up to the steepest section of this wall here. Stefano Gisolfi is out. Mr. Mix of Edmonton. Does Edmonton still have the world's biggest shopping mall?
I believe so. It's definitely massive.
It's the biggest shopping mall I've ever been to, that's for sure.
I would not dare go in there, but I've driven by it.
It's got I went on the roller coaster through the middle of it. It's quite cool. In a sort of, not meaningful, tacky, this is a day of my life I can never get back sort of way. It was good. It was a fun place to go for the day.
Oh, Dinara!
As we watched Dinara, didn't quite figure out that move. Just talk us through.
Just slipped. She was smiling though, I think.
Just run us through. Wait, hopefully we'll see a replay of Dinara. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
So does she have the move right?
Oh, she just quite didn't get the good part of the hold. But I can't remember if we changed this hold in the break, but it should be a little bit better on the right-hand side. Not so much that we would tick it, but definitely enough that if you don't get it quite in the right place, it's not the best.
So this is Stefano Gisolfi out onto the men's route. He's currently third in the overall standings. Flew out of the blocks with the second in Chamonix and then ninth Wieland Briançon, just missing the final. So funny year for him. Very, very close to make it a clean sweep of 3 finals out of 3 so far in 2016.
it has been an interesting year for Stefano. He was, I think he was like on fire last year. I feel like he was a regular in finals last year, maybe having a tougher time catching his rhythm this year. But
yeah, made 4 finals last year.
Obviously a very talented climber and a threat nonetheless.
Yeah, he currently sits 3rd overall for 2016, as I say, 2nd and 9th and 9th. You suspect if for the rest of the season he's to hold on to 3rd overall, he's going to have to make the finals here.
Andere Top 3. Der dritte im Weltcup-Ranking nach den vergangenen Weltcups.
Out in the women's route, we've got Tiaza Callan, also Slovenia. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say I have to shout out all the Canadian route setters at home that are chirping me on my phone right now, trying to get me to speak in accents that aren't my own. It's, no shortage of love from those guys.
If you want, you can hear my impression of Charlie.
Of who?
This is Caleb doing an impression of Charlie. It's quite accurate, hey? See what I did there?
See, you make this joke, but anyone who's ever sat with me for longer than 3 or 4 days in a row knows that I tend to stop speaking in my general English accent. And I actually am known to start talking like you, or Jamaican people, or French route setters, or German route setters, or it's a way of sparking creativity, maybe. This is what they're saying. They're all telling me that I should be speaking in Jamaican on the live stream instead of how I speak now. And okay, I'm putting my phone away. I can't do it.
The phone's going away, that's it.
Yeah, it's gone.
No more abuse. I thought Canadians are nice.
Well, this is nice, but it's ridiculous.
Let's keep an eye on Stefano Gisolfi.
Yeah. Good idea.
Probably for the best. Heading towards the super section this wall. Let's say he is 3rd overall. And just quickly run you down the overall rankings. As Stefano chalks up and Tiaza slowly makes her way up the lower section of the women's route. Currently top in the standings is Doman Skofic. He's won 2 out of 3 World Cups so far in 2016. Sean McCall follows him. Sean's not here this weekend. Stefano Gisolfi, we're watching climb now. He stands 3rd, only 2 points behind him. There is Jakob Schubert. Roman de Grange is 5th, tied with Guti Azuppa. So very tight in the men's competition. Doman Skofic leading the way though, 225 points to Sean McCall's 208. Stefano Gisolfi 154, currently sitting in 3rd. Women's competition, no prizes for guessing who's winning there. She's won all 3 World Cups so far. Janja Garmbret, 300 points, a clean sweep. Annick Verhoeven, 200 points. And Jane Kim, 185 points in 3rd behind her. Magdalena Rock and Jessie Pilz on 171 and 157 points respectively.
Yeah, it's really unfortunately actually about Jessie Pilz and Hannah Schubert missing out on this climb with a knee injury. I know the route setting team were a little disappointed because they both tend to tickle finals here, and with the Austrian crowd, it's always good for our show to have those, the home country competitors in the final. But best wishes to those two. Hopefully fast healing. I'm sure they'll be in top form for Paris.
We hope so.
Stefano's just getting into the meat of the route here, up on that raspberry volume.
Worth bearing in mind, Stefano Gisolfi, as I say, 9th the last 2 World Cups. He's been agonisingly close to finals. He is a previous World Cup winner, Wuzhang 2014. He is a serious threat here. However, he's going to have to negotiate this huge volume on the top right of your screen that has so far stopped everybody, apart from
come on,
Ramade.
Stefano.
Fatigue, you'd think, just beginning to show. The elbows just coming out.
Come on, go, go, go.
Don't think too much, just go.
Go to the tick. There you go. That's how you rock climb. Come on. Oh, so close.
Stefano Gisolfi, it looked like if he just kept his right hand where it was and stabilised, he might have stayed on there.
This is a hard move to stick, obviously. We've seen several boys follow the jab of the hut. He looked like he was going to reel it in. Just Yeah, you're totally right. The readjustment of the left hand killed him there.
Yeah, if he just solidified for a couple of seconds, he might have been away there.
She's going to have to be worried about time already.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the time is, but she's not in the blue section yet, and we've got to be well into 3 or 4 minutes now.
So we can concentrate us to the lady.
One of the issues with these lead semi-finals with the climbers coming out whenever the last one's finished is that we don't always have a clock available to us. And I'm going to show you, it's not just you guys at home, it's us here as well. We don't have a clock visible because it would get quite confusing with the climbers constantly coming out. But as you rightly say, Chiazza, I suspect, getting quite tight for time. And we're just looking over at the men's route. The remainder of the route setting team are about to do Caleb's job and do the cleaning as the aspirant, the new guy, he should be doing the cleaning.
It's the main reason why I agreed to do the live stream, Charlie, is because I knew it would get me out of having to scrub that route.
Are you going to leave as soon as they finish doing that?
Yeah, that's the plan. I'm just going to bounce on you. Yeah, we've got IFSC International routes out of Florian Mernig on the men's semifinal. Flo is actually a monster climber. He's going to use the quick draws, but he doesn't need to. Anyway.
Let's have a look at Chiazza here.
Yes, absolutely.
She's just headed. She's reached the colour change. Remember the women's route, you can see some of the holes there. The yellow below and the top half of the route is blue. We'll be going
She's
to
looking
her.
pretty comfortable. We'll see how she does through this tricky section.
Yeah, we'll be going to her hometown of Kran in, I believe it's the last weekend of November.
It's a good place to have your hometown.
Last year she got her best finish of the year right here in Imst, 6th place.
Cool.
So now the important section.
So she knows what it's like to climb in front of the
Come on, go get it.
crowd in the final here in Imst.
She's doing that.
Good. She's looking good.
Not made a final yet this year. It's today the day.
Come on, dear friends, dear spectators, clap your hands.
Starting to look a little pumped through this section. Hopefully she can get to that next good hold. There you go.
Yeah, this is where we saw Salome fall. So if she can move off this, she will be into a provisional second.
Good. She's almost at Salome's high point here. We'll see if she can make this bump. Oh, she's moving quick through this section. That was very close to Salome's score. It'll be interesting to see how the judges want to play that one.
And we can see the route setting team there doing Caleb's job, cleaning the men's route. Yep, if you're wondering why one competitor is being allowed to pull on quick draws, that's why it's the route setting team and they're cleaning the route. There's our arty shot again, and there's our results. So Ramone still the only person to progress past that volume. We see Stefano Gisolfi and Kachiro Koranaga. He's been upgraded. And Caleb, just explain to our viewers at home what these 44.5 plus means.
So I was just about to comment on that. It's sometimes the climbers figure out a sequence for the route that is maybe a little bit different than what the route setter intended, which is normal. And in this situation, they've decided to give that jab of the hut hold that we're talking about a 44 and a 44.5, meaning that if you get the first hand on the hold, you get the 44, but with the second hand, you get the 44.5. That way, we're getting a little bit better separation from them.
So you have it. Remember we'll just round off the men's results. Yep,
that was likely the conversation that they were having earlier.
I suspect so, yeah. The holds on the route are numbered, and obviously the climbers are scored according to which hold and which number hold they reach, but that is open to change. And we can see there, Chiazza. Yeah,
Awesome.
took the provisional lead, so she leads Norwent Arc. It was Salome who slipped low down. Yeah, I was just saying the holds on the route are numbered, so if you get to hold 40, that is your score, but some side of the climbers do it slightly differently to how the route setters are expecting, and the scoring system can be altered to accommodate that, and that's what happened in the men's competition. This will be our last female climber before that route in turn gets climbed. This is Sophie Collet of Switzerland.
We're getting very lucky here right now with the weather. It's, conditions are actually great.
Yeah, the temperature's just beginning to drop.
It's exactly what you could want. Just a little bit of humidity in the air, but not too much that the holds feel wet. Just that perfect sticky amount.
Here's Anne-Sophie, comes from Biel in Switzerland, right in between Basel and Bern. Has its own lake, the Bielersee.
Anne-Sophie Koller aus der Schweiz auf dem Weg nach oben.
So Anne-Sophie, she's coming into this in some good form. Still only 20 years old, and she's had a very good season so far. Made the first final in Chamonix, placed 7th. If you remember watching that, it was a cold, damp night in Chamonix. Followed that up with a 14th in Villars. That was only 3 or 4 days later, and then a 16th in Briançon. So consistently semi-finals and one final so far. So don't think anyone would be too surprised if she makes her way into this evening's final. She's just reaching the top of the first panel where the angle begins to ease off. Oh, sorry, angle increases. The lower panel that she's on now, the angle is slightly easier. Really kicks back above. She's just making the most of that with a final rest. And the bass on the venue sound system just affecting our camera there. See it shaky away.
Yeah, the organization here in Imst is like, it's unreal, to be honest. We were here setting for a few days, and it was kind of this like barren landscape, and then all of a sudden, within 5 minutes, there's tents and flags and signage and speakers and lights and TVs and blah. It's like, it just all came together so crazy. It's like amazing.
Austrian efficiency.
Yep. I think they've been holding the World Cup here in Imst for almost 20 years. I think it's 19 might be the official number. I know Helly was telling me earlier. I think it's 19 years. So they've got it down to a science at this point, I would say.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And Sophie, very controlled climbing so far. She's, to give you some idea, I'd say just short of halfway on the women's route on the second steepest part. So the next big landmark, half a dozen or so moves further on, is where the colour changes.
Yeah, she's just hitting that really pumpy little pinch section here that it's not the hardest climbing, but it makes the climbing after it feel much worse.
I don't know if I should mention this again, but aspirant IFSC route setter Caleb Thomas is alongside me. He's getting some real abuse on his phone, which he's had to put away.
And it keeps going off.
You horrible people. If you'd like to say something nice to him or ask him a question, you can get on Twitter, #IFSCWC. Anyone that has Caleb's phone number is banned. You've proved yourselves unsuitable for our Twitter feed.
Thankfully, not many Canadians have Twitter, so I don't think they're going to chirp me that hard on Twitter, but the phone is in my pocket right now, and it is just... That's what friends are for, right?
Absolutely. There's a reason I turned mine off.
Well, I wanted to be able to Google things in case I had no clue what I was talking about. So Anne-Sophie's looking good here. She's taking her time a little bit, but she's almost up to the roof section here at the Imst wall.
We've talked quite a bit about pace. It seems like she's managed to pace quite well. She's gone slow when it's appropriate and then sped up when needed as well.
Yeah, it would be nice to see what the times are coming in as when they're up there, but she's got a good consistent pace going. All right, come on, Anne-Sophie.
Oh, this is already enough to get her into a provisional
Into a good
final
position,
place.
yeah.
So that hold that a right hand on there, that's where Salome Roman slipped.
Come on, Anne-Sophie. She's looking very solid. Hopefully she can keep the pace going here. Oh, yeah. Come on, Anne-Sophie. She's the first one to clip this draw around the corner.
Yeah, this is great climbing.
She's
so
looking
far.
solid.
And not really looking too
Come on, Anne-Sophie.
too fatigued at this stage. You can see the peaks
Yeah.
just behind it. Sun beginning to set. Conditions fantastic here in Imst right now.
Come on. Oh,
Bit of an awkward fall. She
very
just,
close.
Just had her leg caught behind the rope. Well, that will be enough for provisional first, I think.
Yeah, that was great. She made a little bit of a sequencing error there near the top. The better method is to go from the undercling on the pinch, bump off that first sloper into the big ring hold, and then continue to the root. You can see here she goes right hand to the ring, and then tries to bump to the next sloper. That could work, but it's definitely a harder method. Yeah, you can see that left hand just popped off there.
And we just had a comedy. We just had a slight comedy moment. The root setters messing with each other a bit there, lowering each other maybe slightly faster than they would have chosen. And we see there, Anne-Sophie Collett, it was enough for a very healthy lead, 54 plus. Jazza Kallen, Noen Ark, Salome Roman, Evgenia Kazbekova, and Risa Ota currently occupy the top 6. Rebecca Kamin and Dinara Fakhtudinova make up the rest of the top 8. So Caleb, we've seen 13 men, 13 women. We're just having the routes cleaned now, or the women's route cleaned. Who's impressed you most so far?
Well, Raman obviously came out guns a-blazing. Really good for the show, actually. I think it's perfect. We got the separation earlier in the day, so we tweaked the end of the route a little bit, hopefully to try to make the show better. He killed it. And then obviously we just saw Anne-Sophie come out and look significantly stronger than the other climbers. She was comfortable and relaxed up there. It's just a little sequencing error.
Yeah, just to recap, if you're just tuning in, might have been climbing or out for a couple of drinks, we're live in Imst in the Vorarlberg region of Austria. We've had 13 men and 13 women climbing so far. And the men currently hitting a bit of a stopping point, apart from Ramada, I should point out. They're all hitting this huge volume on the lip of the final panel here in Imst. So far, it's stopped most of the big names, apart from Ramada, who topped the route. So see there. That sort of photography wins awards. Look at that. Quick draw silhouetted against the mountains. There's a replay of Sophie Amoros back early in the round. You can see the volume I was talking about then, right at the top of your screen there.
That volume is made by a company, Core Climbing, and probably has an actual name. But for the purpose of this live stream, we are going with Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt works for me. So, Hanwoo Kim's out. Gwangju in South Korea. strong climbing team.
Yeah, I was just about
Korea?
to say the same thing.
I'm not familiar of any North Korean climbers. Could be wrong. And we'll on this, I've already talked about it, slightly bouldery start to this men's route. One of the men who set these routes, IFSC aspirant route setter Caleb Thomas, is next to me. Don't forget, you can get in touch with him either on his phone, as his friends are currently doing, or on Twitter at #IFSCWC. See Hanwell, he's just struggling with this bouldery start. He's figured it out now. No final for him so far. 2016 best place finish of 11th in Briançon. Never been in a final of a World Cup. As I say, not quite getting to grips with this bouldery start, but he's getting it done and seems to now be finding a bit of rhythm. So what he's got now is a bit of a dynamic move right. So far all the climbers have stuck it, but
Thankfully.
it's certainly at the higher risk end of moves this low down on a route. Creeps across, nicely done. If you're wondering why there's
Oh yeah, he's
no
looking solid.
If you're wondering why there's no female climbers out, that's because the route setting team brushed the routes after 13 climbers, half the climbers in the semi-final, and that's what they're currently doing on the women's route. And that chap on the bottom right of your screen is not an alien. He's just got belay glasses on, and the light's catching them at a
He
funny
looks
angle.
hilarious on the screen, doesn't he?
He does. It looks like a big blue bottle fly or something with massive eyes. I can assure you, it's just his belay glasses. At least I think it is.
The belayers here are incredible too, actually. Like, so many good catches all day, and even when we were cleaning the routes, they were like the best belayers. We didn't need to communicate with them. They just knew exactly what we wanted.
Well, it's a strong climbing tradition in this part of Austria.
I believe next year is the maybe the 200th anniversary of the Austrian Alpine Club.
I believe so, yeah.
I could be off, but
I am a proud member of the Austrian Alpine Club.
okay, well then you should know, shouldn't you?
I probably should, yeah.
Yeah.
I should read the newsletters a bit more carefully. I'll look at the photos.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Yep. The just a cragging guidebook, the single pitch sport climbing guidebook to the Tyrol is, I believe, 700 pages thick. And that
Oh my God.
That doesn't take into account multi-pitch routes or bouldering. So there is a lot of climbing around here. I know we're not officially in the Tyrol. Are we? That's a good question, actually.
Yeah, we're in Tyrol.
I'm pretty...
All I know is that everywhere I go, they're trying to serve me traditional Tyrolean food, so I'm pretty sure we're in Tyrol. There's also, Charlie, if you look just right in front of us, there's about 38,000 signs that say Tyrol, so I think we might be in there.
I think they just stole them from Innsbruck and they brought them along because they look nice.
I'm not sure exactly why you would steal 37,000 signs from Innsbruck, but you could be right.
Okay, Imst in the Tyrol. I was sure it was in the Vorarlberg.
Yeah, I had a traditional Tyrolean cheese plate last night.
I should have listened harder in school.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Not like I live in the Tyrol or anything.
It's not.
Apology to all the Tyroleans and Vorarlbergens.
Oh, they're such nice people here too.
Probably not now. I've told them that they live in Vorarlberg, but we'll see.
At least you didn't tell them they live in Germany.
Oh, that would take a brave man.
Yeah. Yeah, the route setting team has been calling me the American the entire time. So I've been calling Jans Brannick the Polish, and I've been calling Florian the German, just to try to get back at them a little bit. Calling Paul the French guy is, it's enough.
Ouch.
Always fun and games when you're route setting. All right, Handwell's looking good here. He's getting into the roof section. He's looking really solid.
He didn't seem to be especially smooth through that lower bouldery section, but he's really found his rhythm here.
We're into the bottom half of the list here now, so we're going to start seeing a lot of good, incredible performances from some of these men, I think.
So Ham will make his way up towards the Jabba the Hutt volume.
Yeah, come on. Adi Kim.
And also from our catch, like the Japanese and also a man from Spain.
Apologies, social media informing me just how wrong I was. We are not in the Vorarlberg. We are in the Tyrol. That's my mistake. I apologise.
Come on.
So, Hamwell Kim, he's using the feet cleverly. This is how Ramon did it.
He's looking good. Keep moving. Now he needs to. That would have been tricky for him had he stuck this hole. That clip would have been very challenging.
That's certainly enough for second place, though.
Oh yeah, he's sitting up there for sure. And I think sometimes the climbers know when they're that close to the route that it's worth it sometimes to just keep pumping through moves instead of clipping. When you're really pumped, sometimes that plus is worth more. He seems a little disappointed, but I think when he sees the result on the screen, he won't feel the same way.
No, he's, as I say, only the second climber to really move off that big volume.
Yeah.
Ramone being the first, and he went on to top the route. So that will certainly be enough for a provisional second for him. Julia Chanaudy of France is out, so the women's route has been brushed by the route setting team. Julia Chanaudy, what an interesting season she's had. 11th Chamonix, 12th Vilar, 13th Briançon. So it would seem at this stage she's going down one place every World Cup. She'll be looking to reverse that.
Yeah, maybe this will be her time. She's been around the circuit for a while, I think. A couple of years.
Yep. Made a final last year in Poers in Belgium, so.
And still young. Just 20.
Just 20. Oh. Unbelievable how young these climbers are. We had someone climbing today who was born in the year 2000.
Yeah, that one took me for a score too. I'm not even that old, but seeing 2000 on the list is like, there's something about it, you know? Sure, it's like when you see 1990.
Ouch.
Oh, come on, Charlie. We have to have fun here, right?
I'm just going to take the dagger out and then I'll carry on.
It's okay. I've got a blood bucket here for you.
Oh, you're killing me. I do remember 1990. Not as well as some people, though.
It's 1 year after I was born.
Not as well as some people on the media team will remember 1990.
So now you're trying to pass it off to those guys.
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. So yeah, Julia Chanaudy on the women's route. You've got Yuval Shemler, another Israeli climber. They've had a climber in the men's and women's semi-final today. And as I say, we've got Alex Kazanov, very popular co-commentator in the Boulder World Cup. So as we've already mentioned, Israel, they've got a thriving climbing scene right now, and it seems to be getting stronger.
He was also he had a really, really good run on the yellow men's qualifier, the qualifier number 1. Very few boys made it to this really sharp crimp in the roof, and he just came out explosively through that route. He looked so good. He's a new name for me personally. I'm sure he's been around. I'm sure it's my fault, not his, but it was nice to see him. Really nice guy, too. He came to the setting crew after and had a few questions. He's a very enthusiastic character.
No, it is actually his World Cup debut.
Is it? Okay.
Not a bad start to it.
Oh, no, not at all.
When I say his World Cup debut, he did actually take part in Munich in the bouldering a couple of, a week or so ago.
I could be wrong,
semi-finals, but yeah, first lead World Cup, so I understand him being a new name to plenty of our viewers.
There's a few people doing that, I think, that are, because it can be so expensive to travel on the circuit, there's a few climbers that were pairing the Munich World Cup with Imst and Arco just to try to make the most of the trip.
Yeah, not too far apart, a couple of hours I suppose, from Munich down to Imst, and then probably 3 hours down to Arco, where we are next weekend.
Yeah, no, there's a little contingent, or actually a pretty solid contingent of the Canadian team have been tying these couple of competitions together, which is great. Getting here from Canada is not cheap, to say the least, so you've really got to make the most of your trip.
Watch Julia Chanaudy taking quite a prolonged rest before launching into the steepest section of the wall. The spotlights fully in use here in Imst now.
See, that was really cool. She did this little arm throw move to get up there, which is a little more risky, but definitely a very efficient way of doing this movement. We try to teach the kids this type of move all the time, to use momentum a little bit, to take some of the power out of their back muscles. It's really good that she's climbing like this. Looking around for the good part of the hold. This is looking pretty good from Julia. Hopefully we can... okay, well, she's shaking out on the god-awful hold on the back end of that large morpho volume, so she's obviously not too uncomfortable. The crowd is getting behind her here in Imst as well. It's nice. It could also just be the large French team that's here, but...
Yeah, there's actually enough French climbers in this
There's enough,
semi-final
yeah,
to make a lot of noise on their own.
Yeah. Come on, Julia.
Julia Chanaudy
She's looking good.
climbing herself into the lead, I believe, here.
No, not quite, but close.
So let's get ready. Clap your hands.
She's gone right hand to the disc again, or the big hole. We'll see if she can match the hole and keep moving. See, that obviously when the climbers previewed the route, they were previewing right hand to the hole, and I'm hoping that some of the other French girls choose an alternate sequence. As much as that hole is big, and there's a lot of surface area, it is actually quite hard to match. There's only really one part that you kind of want to get your hands on. Maybe, you know, someone like Yanya or Nak could make that match work for them, but we'll see.
So here's Yuval Shemler.
Oh!
Just heading up. He's about to hit the steepest panel of the wall.
He's maybe going to be disappointed with this, but he should be really happy. It's his first World Cup. He's sitting in semifinal. But I'd be lying if I said I thought he would go a little further into the roof. But
So just to remind you, our next climber out will be Urban Primozic on the men's route. He's had a really good season so far. And Katarina Posch, one of the very strong Austrian team, climbing in front of home crowd. The crowd is beginning to fill out here in Imst. We are expecting a full house tomorrow. It's a great venue, quite reminiscent of the hill at Wimbledon for the tennis fans out there. Big grassy hill for everyone to sit on.
And so Katarina's hometown is Imst, and the crowd has responded as such.
You don't need me to introduce her. The venue MC did a great job. Hopefully you got that through my microphone.
It would be really good for the route setting team if Katarina could squeak her way into final. It's always the best for the show when the hometown crowd is someone that they can really attach themselves to. And
no messing about, straight into this lower section.
I think we're going to see the next little round of women are going to move a little quicker through this section of the climb. I think we're getting to the point now where these girls aren't as nervous as some of the ones before them. Semi-final is always a little tricky. I think as coaches, we always try to encourage the climbers to climb aggressive and climb to top the route and not to fall, but it tends to be the case in semifinal that they climb a little more defensively. They're more worried about falling. They tend to hold back a little. We know that as setters as well, and I think we'll see these last couple girls maybe climb a little more aggressive, which I think is really the key to this route.
There's not many people get to compete in a home World Cup, especially when you come from a town as small as Imst. It's a lovely little town. We've enjoyed our time here, but it's not huge. So to get to come from a town like this and get to compete in a home World Cup, fantastic. Katarina Posch. You see that? Urban Primozic, she's had a good season. fairly unremarkable 20th in Chamonix and then stormed to 5th in Vila and 7th in Briançon. So he's made 2 out of 3 finals before this evening in 2016. Katarina, on the other hand, no final just yet this year. 11th, her best result so far. And you can see there the spotlights absolutely necessary now here in Imst. We've got still some light in the sky, but nothing like enough to climb by.
So, wir halten natürlich patriotisch die Daumen.
So it's actually a slight trick of the eye. There isn't a rep between the two climbers. They're not in any danger of hitting each other.
Yeah, the lights are making it look really funny there, actually. It looks like they're on top of each other, but there's actually about 2 or 3 meters between them. There's tons of space.
And there, yeah, as I say, there isn't a ret. You can see it from that angle. So if it pans out again and it looks as if the climbers are going to hit each other, don't worry. Don't forget, if you've got any questions for Caleb Thomas, IFSC aspirant route setter, he's sitting next to me. Get yourself on Twitter, hashtag IFSCWC. Let us know what you think about this evening's competition. Always enjoyable to come to Imst. Great part of the world in the Tyrol region of Austria, not the Vorarlberg region of Austria.
Yeah, it's been really cool spending the last couple of days here, putting around town and eating the food and meeting the people.
What have you made of the Austrian food? It seems fitting as we got Katarina Posch.
Well, to be honest, I can't eat that much of it because I don't eat meat, and I know that it's a very meat-heavy diet, but I've had lots of, I'm going to say this so bad, but Käsepattel? Käsepattel? It's like similar to macaroni and cheese, almost, here in Canada, very good.
Käsespatzel.
Sorry, yeah.
It's fine. I thought we were in a different region.
Heli is going to be... Oh, actually, they said that in different regions they say it differently. So maybe I've got it right for Imst, but...
what a get-out that was.
Probably not. And then lots of cheese and bread and all these delicious things that aren't so delicious in my side of the world.
Yeah, it's a very meat-heavy diet. And you're right, it is a very strong dialect. The further west you go in Austria, particularly if you go down some of the subsidiary valleys, you just can't understand anything.
Well, they all speak a different language than me, so I can't understand anything to begin with, but...
Well, I can speak passable German, but you get down some of these valleys, it doesn't really bear much resemblance to what I learned in school. So Urban, he's got probably 3 more moves before he's onto the very steepest part of the wall, and from there he'll be launching himself towards that large volume that's stopped so many of the climbers so far today. I've lost count of how many climbers have had one or both hands on it.
5 right now, or either with the 44 or the 44.5. Katarina's just entering into the blue section at the same time Urban's coming into the roof. It's actually really great for the crowd here right now in Imst because we've got almost had both climbers entering the serious parts of the routes here.
Katarina just slips off the women's route. We were focusing on Urban Primozic. We will try to get a replay for you. So Urban, as I say, 2 finals out of 3 so far. Can he make it 3 from 4?
Come on there, Ben.
Just struggling a couple of times with that quick drop.
Yeah, that was giving him some problems there. Come on. Get your foot up. Up. Yes. Good. Okay, now you do the move. Come on. Oh, come on. Go. Oh.
Well, Urban Primozic, I'm pretty sure that won't be enough for a place in the final. You see there lowering against the night sky. What a beautiful shot that is.
I think he just, unfortunately, lost a bit of energy fighting with that roof.
So that was Katarina Posch. She just missed that left hand.
Just let her hip sag just a little bit. Just a little bit too much. Very close. This chief route setter, Paul DeWild, and his kids, Maxine and Charlie.
That's Paul standing up, holding the, I think it's a folded plate.
Yes, his son is fond of the pizza, so I would imagine Paul's holding the plate from it. It's cool, actually. Both Paul and Jens Brannick have brought their whole families to Imst for the comp. They've made a full vacation of it.
We're just going to recap the results for you. See there, top left of your screen. Did Urban Primozic do enough to get anywhere near? No.
Okay, this result is yeah, we're doing okay. Yeah. It's actually great. We've got a lot of the men are pulling over the roof, which is excellent for the show here. And now that we've got a few other people coming out, the separation is really starting to come into its own. And couldn't be happier right now, to be honest. It's great.
See there, and Sophie Collet, followed by Julia Shanodi, excuse me.
And the women's route is breaking down really nice.
This is Yuka Kobayashi out on the women's route. Mario Lechner of Austria, he comes from Searle, that is right between here and Innsbruck, half an hour down the road.
Yeah, I got the buster there, I think, on my way through.
Yes, home some very good climbers, a huge wall there, the Martins band.
Oh, cool. That is definitely the difference, man. Europe has so many amazing facilities, eh? And outdoor climbing, indoor climbing, it's endless.
Oh, he's absolutely flying up the
Yeah, he is. You took the words right out of my mouth, Charlie. I was about to say the same thing. He's like motoring here.
Most of the climbers have taken their time on this lower section. But Mario flying up it. Okay, bit of a controversial question here on Twitter. Don't forget, IFSC aspirant route setter Caleb Thomas is sitting next to me. You can ask him a question by hashtagging IFSCWC on Twitter. Oh, Lucy Zabrankova. Lucy Zabrankova. I apologise again, my pronunciation. Has a question, Caleb. Who was your favourite route setter to work with this past week? And don't you dare say they were all great.
Well, Lucy Zabrankova.
I want an answer.
My favorite route setter to work with was, of course, Jens Brannick, your beautiful and wonderful husband. She's loading me this question.
I was hoping you wouldn't get that.
That's a ridiculous question. She's asking it to put me on the spot because her husband was on the route setting crew. Obviously that's a ridiculous question. The three of them are incredible. I've learned so much from all three of these route setters. Picking a favorite would be ridiculous.
Thank you, Mr. Director, putting us on screen just as I eat something.
She wants me to say Jan, though. Actually, maybe my favorite route setter was Adams Brannick, Jan's 3-month-old son, who is likely the future of IFSC route setting. He's already got grip strength like a monster, actually.
I mean, to be honest, Lucy, I think Paul is by far and away the strongest and best route setter involved in this competition.
He's also the best looking, I would say.
Oh, comfortably, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of money as well, and
yeah.
He lives in a nice house.
And then once you factor in his Ferrari and his multiple $5,000 road bikes, it's not really a contest anymore.
No, so there's the answer to your question, Lucy. It's Paul is the answer. I can't believe you spotted that. I was teeing you up there.
It was, well, it's only because I saw who asked the question that I was willing to entertain the question.
I should have hidden the computer screen.
I probably would have given you some fluffy political answer had I not known it was Lucy.
So, auf geht's, auf wir beide und für Mario Lechner.
Well, Mario Lechner, while we were discussing our favourite route setters, has powered up the middle third of this men's route.
And
you might have heard him through my microphone. Came off gave a
Yeah.
big shout, not a happy man, in front of pretty much a home crowd.
It is fair for him maybe to be disappointed there that it's an unfortunate place to fall on the roof. It's a relatively comfortable position, and I didn't quite see exactly what happened, but I imagine it was something unexpected. It's always the most unfortunate when you're in this kind of setting and you fall, and it's not after fighting. If you get to fight for a few moves and you fall off the route, at least then you feel like you tried your hardest, but slipping off the route in semifinal has got to be not the best feeling.
Well, Mario has just stormed off the stage, and there's some chairs down by the side. I've just watched him take his rock boots off, throws them down, slaps his trainers down to put back on. Not a happy man. We'll follow Yuka Kobayashi now, though. Had a good season so far, 2 finals out of 3 before today. Not so good in Briançon, 23rd. She'll already do better than that.
I think in Briançon it was, as I just said, not a case of her fighting to her best and just a case of something not quite working out for her.
Had very difficult conditions in Briançon, as you'll know
Yeah,
if you watched our
always.
live stream. So, Yuka Kobayashi. Controlled, steady pace so far. Time you would suspect becoming an issue. Mikhail Chernikov's out onto the men's route. 31 years old. Yuka now begins to launch herself towards this extremely steep section. You can see where the angle of the wall changes above this quick draw.
She's looking a little more indecisive than usual. Like she's not exactly sure what she wants her method to be. She needs to really commit here. There you go. And you see that arm throw again, trying to save some energy. Very smart climbing.
Yeah, it looks super solid on that.
And as she pulls into the head wall, we've got some AC/DC coming on the stereo, so I don't know how you couldn't top the route with Thunderstruck blaring in the background. It's
No, we just had the unmistakable opening few bars of AC/DC's Thunderstruck in the venue.
We may or may not have put this on while forerunning at one point.
DJ's refound his taste after some
Yeah.
of the shockers early on.
Yeah, I
Yuka-
heard pink there at one point.
Yeah, I just tried to blank that out, to be honest. Oh, Yuka Kobayashi. She used up quite a lot of energy on that.
I think she
second
took
to last clip.
I also think she took too long to the bottom of the route. I think she needed to move just a little bit quicker through there to try to save some of her energy.
We see her here, the slap left. And she missed,
So close.
missed the best bit of the hold.
You need to really get in the back of this hold as well. It's not good if you just get the edge of the volume. You need to get right behind. Oh yeah, you can see the heads nodding in the audience there a little bit.
You can, yeah, let's just have a look again.
Oh
at Martin.
yeah, see that is oh,
It's a heartbreaker for Mario.
that is a heartbreaker. You took the words out of my mouth. It's so unsatisfying to climb that high up into the semi and know you have so much power left, and then just to have that unfold. It's
Ladies and gentlemen, we proud to present the 4th place intermediate of the World Cup ranking 2016.
Okay, we got another question on from Lucy on Twitter. Don't forget, if you'd like to ask Caleb Thomas a question, hashtag IFSCWC on Twitter. This says, Caleb, what are your sources of inspiration for route setting?
it varies pretty often. I think every route setter draws inspiration from a lot of different places. Being from Canada and not having as much exposure to the World Cup, watching the live streams has always been huge for me as a route setter. Trying to emulate the movements that we see in the Boulder World Cup and on the Lead World Cup is huge. I try to climb outside as much as I can and take some notes from this as well. The biggest thing I actually find maybe the most inspiring is doing things like this, coming to new walls, working with new holds and new setters. You can really take a lot of good ideas from these people, and I think all of that combined hopefully creates a good product.
Certainly has done so far this evening. We've had a great semi-final here in Imst. And great to see Ramone back on something resembling his top form.
Oh yeah, it was nice to see Magda Rock down here in your bottom right corner, another Austrian climber.
Yep, she's from Landeck. She's just down the road from here, the opposite direction from Innsbruck.
one of my first exposures to seeing international competition was at Youth Worlds in 2013 at the Boulders. And at that point, Magdalena Rock was in the height of her youth career. And I remember seeing her climbing, and she was just killing it. You know, she was so strong. And
just going to have a quick recap of the results. Keep an eye on the top left of your screen as we follow Mikhail Chernikov. And as I say, Magda Rock from Landak, the feeling of the whole place has changed. There's now, I think, 4 photographers made their way out onto the stage to get some photos of Magda Rock. Mikhail Chernikov, he's making his way up to where the wall gets to his steepest angle. He'll then climb that section, he'll be onto the Jabba the Hutt volume, the huge volume that stopped so many climbers so far.
yeah, I will.
So Magda Rock, she's not setting an amazing pace here. She knows what she's doing. A really nice control style of hers, as we see on the top left of your screen. As I say, the women's results scrolling through. I can tell you, Mikhail Chernikov, you can see him in the inset screen. See fatigue beginning to kick in, and the Beastie Boys now on the stereo. You got to fight for your right. All is forgiven, Mr. DJ. So Mikhail Chernikov is heading towards the volume. As I say, you can see in his movements and his face the fatigue kicking in, but that is a relatively positive hold. It's just the angle that's the problem. Look at that. Look at his short bag if you want to get an indication of just how steep this section of the wall is.
Yeah, the hold is okay, but the wall is a roof.
And he just seems to run out of juice there for that final move right as the spotlight finds him on the way down.
I think he kind of motored through the little rest there at the great volume, and I think maybe had he stopped there for a little bit longer and brought his heart rate down a little bit, it could have been to his advantage.
Got another question on Twitter. Don't forget, you can ask your own, hashtag IFSCWC. Aaron wants to know, Caleb, what do you think about the 2020 Olympic climbing and having to compete in all 3 disciplines?
Oh, well, I think, like everybody involved in competition climbing, it's an amazing decision and very good for the sport. I'm psyched on the 3 discipline, to be honest. I don't personally participate in speed, but it is by far it's one of the better formats to watch. It's also very easily understandable, and I think that it's an inevitable part of our sport, just like bouldering and lead, and having all 3 combined is a really great way to present the sport to the international community.
I couldn't agree more.
I'd like to see it eventually become 3 disciplines. That would be amazing, I think, for the athletes. But
you mean where medals are awarded for
medals for all 3, yeah. But I mean, this is an amazing start, and I think it's going to really showcase the sport and what we're all about and what climbing is for.
I think it's a great decision.
Only good things to come, as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't hurt that the top overall maybe is from my country. It's nice, but
yeah, you never know. Sean might be listening to us now. Looking forward to seeing you in Paris. If so, Sean, enjoy the wedding. Meanwhile, Magda Rock, who's had a superb season so far, 3rd, 5th and 4th.
Yeah, she's really been on fire, actually. I didn't realize it was this good until I just looked at the screen here. Wow. Being that consistently in the top 5 at the World Cup is no small feat.
Now he's really climbing well, looking really solid. I don't want to curse her, as I have done so many climbers this season, but that's the venue MC getting the crowd pumped up for Magda Rock.
Oh, the crowd's clapping along here now. The cloud, I mean the crowd.
I think you do.
Last time I checked, clouds don't generally clap for rock climbing competitions. Yeah, come on, Magda.
See Marcello Bombardi, you can see him bottom right of your screen. Magda Rock, certainly enough for a provisional final place so far.
Good. Yeah, she's doing well here.
Great way of climbing. It often seems like she's just on the limit of falling off and then just seems to find this second wave of energy from
She's got some fight.
somewhere.
That's
got
a definite
major
thing.
fight.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Cotton Eye Joe again here in Imst.
Oh, from the sublime to the ridiculous. Come on, Magda. The crowd will go wild if she can take a provisional lead here.
Magda using a really good sequence.
So, we've barely seen this top section of the women's route.
See, she's got the left hand in the hole. She's set up good here.
So we've seen some climbers have their right hand where Magda's got her left.
She seems to have lots of energy.
She does. There's very little signs of fatigue. It looked as if she was heading, when she was heading for the lip, that she might be running out.
And then that's a new high point for the women here. Come on, Magda. Get your feet. Good. Come on. Oh,
That's certainly a provisional lead for Magda Rock.
She needs to take a little bit more time and relax and just get the left foot up a little bit on that bottom flat hold with the little screw-on jib in it. As much as the next hold is not the worst hold in that section, I think if your feet cut, you're game over. Awesome performance from Magda Rock.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That will be the provisional lead for sure for Magda
Oh,
Rock.
yeah.
Just a reminder who's still to come. Alina Ring will be next out, followed by Christine Schranz, Matteo Becerra, Ellen Yannico, Kaiser Rossen, Jane Kim, Mina Markovic, Janja Garmret and Anna Verhoeven still to come. So that is a very strong list of climbers still to come. But Magda Rock, she's done all she can do. She's taken the lead. I say that list notable for the fact that Janja Garmret is not at the top of it, because for the first time this season she was beaten in a round of a World Cup. She's not yet been beaten overall in a World Cup, but she was beaten in a round. Anna Verhoeven, who's been right behind her for so much of this season, beat her yesterday in the qualifying round. Anna topped one of the routes. She was the only female climber to top a route yesterday. Very calm and composed, as she always does. Here's Alina Ring, Switzerland. Only 18. As we watch Marcello Bombardi, one thing we haven't seen from him yet is a huge change in pace. He's kept up this pace pretty much all the way up the route. But this is the section where plenty of the climbers have stepped it up slightly. So Marcello making his way onto this grey triangular volume. We've seen a few climbers slip off here, Urban Primovic being one of them. Alina Ring there. Slowly making her way at the women's route. Can tell you she's not too far up it so far. I think that's the third clip she's clipping. I can't quite see the quick draws from here. So Marcello just trying to figure out whether he can make that clip. He can. Beginning to show some signs of tiredness, but he's not too far off the volume. The big jump of the hot volume. Managed to find something resembling a rest here. Really fighting here, Marcello Bombardi. And it's not quite enough. That won't be enough to get him a place in the final, but a great effort. You can see him battling for the last few Musée lows down a couple of meters away from this. Seems fairly neutral about that. I wouldn't say he's over the moon, but he doesn't look too disappointed either. So we watch Alina marginally picking the pace up, but still Fear going slightly too slowly. Needs to find a bit of speed from somewhere.
The top 7 with the next one.
Just to remind you, next out in the men's competition will be Francesco Vetterata. See there, the women's result, Magda Rock, yes, she does take a healthy lead, 57 plus and 54 plus in second place, from Anne-Sophie Cullen. That's a great view of our wall here in Imst. The wall here is enormous, so it's not like many of the venues we go to where you can only see the competition routes. There are all sorts of other routes from previous competitions and previous rounds all over the place. Caleb, we just had a question through for you. Do you have any personal favourite athletes? I don't suppose that's who you like the most, who you enjoy watching climbing the most.
Ooh. This is brutal because he's Canadian, but I love the way Sean climbs. I know that's an obvious answer coming from me, but even as much as I love Sean climbs, I like the way a lot of the Japanese climb because they climb kind of the same way. I love when a climber comes out from isolation, they know exactly what they want to do, and they commit to that, and they go for it. And usually this works really well for Sean and some of these other climbers, and not always, but that's why it's so good, is they create the best show, and they climb committed and fast and aggressive, and that's the key. I think we're starting to see that coming a little bit more from some of the female climbers. Yanni is obviously bringing that style pretty hard, so she's very entertaining to watch, I think, as well. And I do feel that going forward, that is going to be the method for a lot of these people to take forward, especially with the tri-discipline coming into the Olympics. That fast, aggressive climbing is going to be key.
Seeing there in the inset screen, Francesco Vetterati's just pulled onto the wall. He's 3 or 4 quick draws up. We're going to stick with Alina Ring, though. Well, I said she was climbing relatively slowly. You can tell she kind of slapped for that clip, but she's still going.
She's looking. She needs to find a rest, and not quite.
She wasn't too far off what some of the girls have been using as a rest.
Yeah, she was one move away from getting a little bit of a break.
So Francesco make his way up this bouldery lower section. Already been in a final this year. Chamonix got 8th place. Let's have another look at Alina. You can
close.
see the look on her face. She knew it was.
Yeah, she knew she was
close.
She was pumped. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but I feel like maybe she hasn't been in too many finals or semifinal, and maybe there's a little bit of nerves there. It's easy to overgrip in an environment like this and maybe get pumped out a little quick.
Yeah, she's not been in a World Cup semi-final before.
She's regular on the youth scene for sure, but it might be pretty early World Cup for her, yeah.
Excuse me, she has been in one before, Chamonix 2014. I just checked my notes. So yeah, certainly not a regular in the semi-finals. Francesco, as I say, it's been in a final already, and we've got another Austrian climber out on the mat. This will get a good response. Christine Schranz. And once again, the photographers come out onto the stage in response to Christine coming out. Just have a look at the route. Remember, the climbers do get a separate short inspection period, in addition to the observation period before the competition begins. So you get 40 seconds just standing at the bottom of the route just to rehearse the initial section.
I guess Christine is our last Austrian female climber. I think we've still got Jakob coming out for the boys. He's another climber I really like, actually.
Yeah, still got Jakob Schubert to come. If you remember watching Brianson, he slipped off. He had a heel hook
Oh,
and he gave way. And very
yeah,
wet,
that was a heartbreaker.
very wet night in Brianson. Jakob.
When is it not a wet night in Briançon?
Well, very true. Yeah, they claim to get 300 days a year of sunshine down in Briançon, but
For about 5 minutes a day, maybe.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen many of them.
Francesco matching this hold is, well, it's working. That's cool, I guess. The hold really only has one good part.
So there we go. He's now entering the steepest section of the wall, and at the end of that, he goes for Jabba the Hutt, the big volume. I think Jabba the Hutt and Holy Macaroni are going to be in live stream folklore.
Yeah, one of my friends has already made a meme about the Holy Macaroni situation. It's I'm going to carry that, I think, for the rest of my life.
We will get that onto Google Images once the competition is over.
At least I haven't said a bad word yet.
That's very true. Let's have a look at Francesco, really battling. Now that's a relatively good hold he's onto. Again, it's the angle that's the trouble.
I find the Italian climbers like to get up there and fight, eh? Like, it's almost like they go out there to get pumped and fight to the top of the route. It's awesome. It's fun to watch.
So just don't think about it too much, Francesco.
Come on.
Keep moving. That's very controlled so
go,
far.
Go, 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 go.
He is taller, though. He's going to struggle to
He's
go.
going to jump. Come on. Francesco, move your hand.
I was about to say, Francesco Vettorati is a bit taller than some of the climbers. And so where you saw people like Ramone able to get their feet right in underneath him, you see there, Ramone could get his foot onto that hole by Francesco's weight. Francesco's just a lot more leverage to get your foot up there, and once it is there, it's not quite as useful.
Obviously in preview, not very many people or no one saw that they should cross back left hand and jump. I think sometimes with the preview it just takes one person to see the sequence the way that we want them to do it, and then they all follow suit. I think that obviously wasn't discussed in preview because we haven't seen too many people just really tee off for that tick mark, which is by far the easiest method up there.
Sind wir jetzt bei den Top 6. At the men's semi-final, we have reached the top 6. In this kind, the next one. From Germany,
So Christine Schranz, who's, I suspect, going to need to step on it a bit. And out comes the unmistakable figure, Sebastian Halenka.
I like watching Basti as well. I was fortunate enough to meet him at the World Climbing Camp 2 years ago, and he is such a fun guy. He's like the classic thing where you want him to make finals because you love him and you want to see him in finals, you want him to do well, but you almost don't want him to make finals because you want to hear him on the live stream. He's going to kill me now that I said this, but everyone out there is thinking it. I'm just saying what you're thinking.
I'm always find myself slightly torn, yeah.
He's going to have a great career doing this when he's done climbing. He's so funny.
Oh, he's such a funny guy. We're in the process of making a bit of a feature with him. I can't give too much away, but if you follow the IFSC Facebook page, which you should do, you're going to be seeing a bit more of Sebastian Halenka. We've got a bit of a project in the pipeline. I'm saying no more, but it will involve Sebastian Halenka being very funny.
He is one of the most bright individuals you could ever meet. And not just his pants and his hair, just the personality is so big and amazing.
And he's this lower section, these bouldery moves that have taken up quite a lot of other climbers' time, don't seem to have troubled Sebastian too much, flying through them.
You know what we should do is we should put a little lav mic on Basti when he's climbing, so he can do his own commentary when he's up there on the wall.
I'd pay to listen to that.
I would pay more money than a route setter makes to listen to that. That would be perfect. Christine Schranz is looking pretty comfortable here too. I think the Austrians are comfortable on this wall. I think they get to train in Imst a little more often than some of the other people, and it's showing. And the crowd here really does get behind the Austrian climbers. It's cool. They all start clapping, and the press comes out. It's like it's a whole thing here in Imst. The crowd's really growing too. Wow, they're like, they're all right back up the hill here at Imst, all the way up to the tent.
Yeah, we're peering into the stage lights here in Imst. It's actually quite hard to see the crowd. I'll have to be very careful about if I do any dad dancing. There's actually a lot of people can see us right now.
They're not watching us, Charlie.
No, I think you're right. Even so, I don't want to risk my dad dancing going viral if someone happens to have an iPhone.
It's okay. I already said holy macaroni on the live stream, so you can't get much worse than this.
That's true.
That's about as dad as you can get right there.
So Christine Schranz aiming for her second final of 2016 after making it 6th place in Villars. Sebastian Hallenker, who had quite a nasty finger injury earlier in the season. I saw him yesterday. I said, has the finger healed? And he said, I hope so. So a bit non-committal from Sebastian.
All right, Christine Schranz is just getting into the main part of the route here. She's just pulled past the big pinch. We got the camera on her now. It's good. She's got that little in-cut that we've talked about. She's looking a little tired. Her pace is picked up. Come on.
Certainly enough for a place in the provisional final.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a good climb for her. I feel like she kept her hips a little bit out from the wall more than some of the other climbers and didn't quite get the weight on her feet that she could have to maybe have conserved that extra 5 or 10%. Basti's looking great.
Let's have another look at this slip here. It was the right hand that went first.
I think her mistake actually came several moves earlier. I think she was climbing very well, but just a couple little things kind of added up, which is really the case here in Imst. One mistake is like 10 mistakes on another wall, and if you make 2 or 3 little ones, then it's rough.
Just going to have a quick recap of the results. Watch the top left of your screen. We'll keep our eye on Sebastian Hallenker for you while you read that. So Sebastian is heading 4 or 5 moves short of the huge volume, Jabba the Hutt.
Basti's looking confident today.
He is. He's climbing really quickly.
Yeah, he's looking great.
Without really pausing much. We see that back to rock. Let's just keep a quick eye on where that put Christine Schranz 5th. Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Could be enough.
Yeah. I worry that Basti didn't maybe rest long enough on the gray volume before the roof, but he seems confident. He's obviously got power left, so he's also taking a little bit of a rest here on the roof, which is not maybe where I would choose to rest, but I'm also not a World Cup semifinalist, so.
Very true. Will he get this beast? He's one of the taller climbers. I think the compressed way of doing that move over the lip that Ramone used might be quite difficult.
I've really got my fingers crossed that Basti attacks this thing and does what we want him to do.
He's looking control so far. He'll clip from here. It doesn't look the easiest place to clip from.
Come on, Basti. Doesn't even need to jump. And he's going to campus. There you go. This is what we really wanted them to do, is campus like this. Great for the crowd. They're going crazy here in Imst. Come on. Oh, he's got so much gas in the tank.
Sebastian Hallenker's been 26th at the last 2 World Cups.
Come on, Basti.
Fully functioning hand now, and he's climbing superbly. As I say, his pace through that middle third was unbelievable. And you can see the top there. It's on the edge of the spotlight.
This is really the very last chance you could rest. It's not a great rest, but it's just enough to get maybe the 5% you need for the last few moves. I think if he attacks this last section, we could see a top here from Sebastian. He's looking really good. I'm going to move my mic away because
I'm getting ready for another
Yeah.
holy macaroni moment.
Yeah, get your eardrums prepared.
Meanwhile, Matilda Sarah started on the women's route. We're going to stick with
Yeah, stick with Basti.
Sebastian Halenka though.
Oh, he's trying to figure out the sequences, which is interesting. What you want to go is left hand to the bottom of the volume. There's a very bad micro hole with a little thumb catch, and then cross right hand to the top, and then bust left to that kind of half moon looking thing. He seems a little unsure, although he's committing to the right sequence. Come on, Sebastian. He's got to roll this out.
No top, but that's enough, certainly for second.
That was a really good run. It looked like he was maybe lacking confidence with exactly what he wanted to do there. Whether he wanted to go right hand or left hand first off the volume, but it was great. He's hamming it up for the crowd. Good climb from Sebastian. He's going to be happy. I think that should definitely put him in the final.
That'll put him in second with
5 more climbers.
5 climbers to go, so he will make the final, yes.
Darn. Who's going to do the commentary?
What a selfish guy carrying on like that when we wanted him in the commentary box.
Come on, you know I'm kidding. I'm so happy with him.
That's great climbing from Sebastian. As you say, just looked like he was figuring it out. What was interesting, Ramone, when he got over that lip, it looked like he was walking up that final section.
Yeah, Ramone, though, he's clearly on point here tonight in Austria, and he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He committed to that sequence, and he motored through it. It was climbed perfect.
So here's Mathilde.
I was actually Mathilde helped me a little bit prepare for this comp. She was training at the Boulders 2 weeks ago at the climbing gym, as well as at one of the gyms that we partner with their Pacific Institute of Sport Excellence. And I got to set a bunch of hard routes for her and a couple other strong climbers, and she was really helpful giving me feedback on the routes and kind of helping me prepare a little bit for this, and it's really nice of her.
Yeah, she's had a good season so far. Last time out in Briançon, she was 6th.
I think she's actually really kind of come into it this season. She's just missed the final in Villers and Chamonix, very close, but she's been consistently up at the top, and it's nice to see her climbing well and confident. She's also someone who I know is preparing more for Paris than she was for Chamonix and Villers. So, I think the results are only going to get better for Mathilde as the season continues.
So if you're just settling down and joining the business end of this IFSC World Cup lead semi-final here in Imst. As for an IFSC route setter, Caleb Thomas is alongside me. He's been answering your questions. If you've got any more for him, don't forget, Twitter, #IFSCWC. Just to give you some idea, we've got Thomas Yuan out. He is the 5th to last male climber. Got a few more women still to come. Mathilde is the 7th to last female climber. Oh, and Mathilde slips off.
No, she's disappointed with this.
She's very disappointed with that. Just takes one more rueful look at the route. Thomas Yuan really struggling with that move right. He's a lot taller. It's a lot more of a compressed move for someone his height. Let's have another look at Mathilde.
Oh, just a little bit more commitment to this move. That move is definitely a tough one if you're really not committed 100% the whole way through. We've seen a couple girls fall like this where they've gone for the move, not quite gotten there, tried to reel it in, and you don't get to make mistakes like this at the World Cup. You will pay for it every time.
Thomas, as I say, not finding this lower section especially easy.
Yeah, he's taking his time through here. He seems a little bit nervous. I know he gets a little bit of a rest here at this hold that in Canada we always call the hat. So maybe he can take some time to collect himself and get his heart rate back down, and it looks like that's what he's going to do. Got another French climber up next as well, Hélène Génicot on the women's. She's another cool climber. She's fun to watch.
Yeah, from Voiron, which is not a million miles from Grenoble. Very nice part of the world. So it's France and France on the wall right now here in Austria.
The French are pretty prevalent in the top end of this final here. I know that was our last French female, or Hélène is our last French female, but the male is 3 French climbers in the top 5 here in the semis.
It was, as we said, it was a very good day for France in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
Thomas is having struggled with some of those more bouldery moves low down, now flying up this next section.
It looks like he really collected himself at that little rest, which is exactly what he needed to do. Is either that or his pacing from the start was to move slow through the greens and then pick it up through the yellows.
Whatever he's changed, it's certainly working because his pace has gone from relatively pedestrian to extremely fast.
Yeah.
Hélène's still relatively low down on the women's route. Thomas just making the best of this rest. Is it as good a rest as it looks there, or is it not actually that great?
Again, we're talking about pretty hard routes, so as much as it might be a little bit of a rest for them, I did not stop and rest there. I probably grabbed all the quick draws and yarded through the sequence. The top of the hold is good, but I would wait to the gray volume. I was wondering if anyone was going to try to do this clip. This is really interesting. Clipping from that undercling is totally possible, but it actually puts the rope in your way for a little bit of the next sequence. Now, it managed to not be a problem for him, but it could have been a mistake. Oh, yeah, we've regressed to the pit bull here in Imst.
Yeah, music's been up and down, I think.
Up and down. Mostly good, though. I'll still give him mostly good.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6 out of 10.
I would have given him a 7. Jeez, you guys are brutal.
I'm a music snob. As we watched Tom up, just trying to figure out. I was about to say, I wonder how long he can hold on. Not that long, it would seem.
He got burned a little bit by the rope there.
See, she's coming down right in front of us. Doesn't seem too bothered by that. Meanwhile, Hélène making. Just watch it again. Just trying to figure out what to do with his feet. Couldn't figure out in time.
I think Hélène could do pretty good on this route if she takes the rests in the right places and keeps moving. She's looking like she's maybe a little pumped right now, but she's one of these climbers who seems to have a lot of moves in the tank. Although I feel like I'm jinxing her now. And I shut up.
Well, she's about to be joined by another French team member, Romain Desgrange.
Romain won here last year, I think, and is of the climbers on the circuit might be one of the more endurance-based climbers and tends to do well, I think, on these longer routes.
Yeah, you're right. Won here last year.
And second in Briançon just a month ago.
Yeah, don't bet against Romain Desgrange, who's 5th in Chamonix, which is basically his home World Cup. He didn't grow up in Chamonix, but it's where he's lived there pretty much his whole adult life. Villard, he had a bit of a bad day by his standards, 27th, but as you say, second in Briançon. Here he is.
I think. Well, you guys definitely heard that on the live stream. The live MC announced Romain with lots of enthusiasm and volume.
So Hélène Yannico, she's climbed pretty steadily all the way through.
Okay, the Michael Jackson remix might bring us back down to a 6, Charlie.
Last year, the surprising champion.
So Hélène, I think
his first World Cup.
Oh, jeez.
She missed the hole.
That was...
Missed the hole, went to readjust.
I thought she would recover that.
I thought she would actually. She
Yeah.
looked very close. Doesn't
That
look
was
happy with that at
that
all.
was close. Okay, there you go. It looked like he was about to hop his foot off the ground a couple times, and I was gonna be like, no, don't do that. Don't hop your foot.
Let's have another look. We see the left hand. She just went to readjust. Couldn't quite keep it.
So close for Helen.
Romain de Grange.
Yeah, I feel like
competitor.
Romain is going to be out of his comfort zone here until the holds turn yellow. But once they turn yellow, he's going to be right at home.
I should point out, if you're just tuning in, that's not because he likes yellow holds. The nature of the route changes quite significantly about midway up when the hold colour changes. Roman's still on the lower section. It's a pretty good rest. After Romain de Grange, we've still got Derman Skufic, Jakob Schubert and Gautier Zuppert still to come.
Not a bad little stack there.
No. Be good to see another top of this route. We've already seen Ramane top it. He'll be in the final.
From Sweden. Let's get ready for the applause.
See there, Romain de Grange, home servos.
Kaiser Rosen.
Servos is just down the valley from Chamonix. It's very much a Chamonix boy, Romain de Grange. Also out on the mat, we've got Kaiser Rosen.
The only Swedish climber in semifinal.
Yes.
It's cool. Again, you can correct me here, Charlie. I know you have the stats, but I think she's only just started cracking in. I think her first final was Briançon over theirs. She looked really good, actually, I thought, at that comp.
So, Kaiser Rosen, I was getting a bit of abuse, albeit from a friend of mine, Bjorn Pohl, the manager of the Klettercenter in Sweden, for my pronunciation of Kaiser last time, and I've just looked up his email. Thanks, Bjorn. To double check this time.
Kaiser?
Kaiser.
Yeah.
Well, it's still actually not right, but it's as close as somebody from the north of England and not from Sweden is going to get, I think.
I think she seems like she's got a lot of potential. She looked strong in qualifiers today. She just accidentally kind of peeled off her qualifier one, but she looked really strong getting up to that point. And she looked good in final. And yeah, Briançon.
Now then, Romain de Grange hasn't been trouble so far.
Yeah, obviously he's sitting in a good position. He looked really strong this morning as well, and especially strong in the roof. I think it's something that these French climbers may have a little bit of an advantage here. They seem to be really smart in the roof. They know exactly kind of what to do.
Let's have a look. Can Romain figure it out? As I say, doesn't seem to have been trouble. He's so certain in his movements.
Now we'll see what his beta here is. He's not quite as small as Ramane. Ramane, thank you. I was getting my vowels confused.
But he's
good. He looks solid.
Very controlled.
Yeah, that was great. Now he just needs to campus and keep moving here. The foot makes it harder, I think. Okay, what are you doing? Go.
Is he listening?
Thank you. That's good.
He'll be in the final. That'll be enough.
This is the clipping position here, off the right hand.
As I say, this is now enough for Romain de Grange. He will be in the final tomorrow.
I think we'll get a couple more moves out of him. he's very strong on the little crimpy holds, and that's kind of what you get on that Dre volume. So.
Reach the top. Ladies and gents, you members from France, clap your hands.
Yeah, come on, Roman. Oh, he's got the right heel hook. That's really key for this section, that good right heel hook.
Are we about
Now,
to see the second top of this men's
He took it
route?
out. Good. Come on. No, this second last hole is pretty bad, Charlie. We'll see. Yeah, it's kind of what I thought was going to happen there. That was a really good performance from Roman. He climbed the route perfect. The end is very hard.
And Roman de Grange comes down.
That was great.
He is furious. I doubt he knows that he's comfortably into tomorrow's final. Let's watch it again.
Yeah. See, as I said to you, that last hold is really, really bad. I think you should be super happy with this performance. This is where we were expecting the top man to get, and then someone like Raman comes out and just blows us out. It's a great performance.
So the lady from Sweden has to stop climbing. Stop climbing. The lady from Sweden.
Oh, they're calling Kaiser Rosen down.
It's over.
Oh, I'm not exactly sure why, but oh, that's really unfortunate.
Why don't you go and investigate? I'll say
Yeah, I'll go take a peeky peek.
A peeky peek. We'll add that to Holy Macaroni. So Caleb Thomas, aspirant IFSC route setter, who's been alongside me all evening, providing great entertainment, if I may say so. He's going to go and find out what happened to Kaiser Rosen there. She looks a bit disappointed. Whatever's happened, she won't be getting back on the wall. That's that. She's fuming. I wonder if it's just a matter of time.
The next one.
Just quickly recap the results. There's confirmation that Ramane is the only man to have topped this route here in this final. However, 5 meters away, Domin Skofic has just walked out. He might have something to say about that. And Magda Rock leads the way in the women's competition. We still have 4 climbers to go. So, 4th upwards, they are assured of a place in the final. Caleb Thomas is back alongside me. Caleb.
So super unfortunate situation there with Kaisa. We couldn't see it from where Charlie and I are sitting, but she actually just skipped the 6th quick draw and got called off the route. That is maybe the worst way to have your semifinal run end. Again, as I said earlier, when Mario fell, it's so unfortunate when you come out here and you have tons of gas in the tank and you just don't even get the chance to fight. Poor Kaisa.
And it's tough to take.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, here is Jane Kim. Bottom right of the screen, Domin Skofic is on the men's route. Won't be used to these sorts of bouldery starts, but he's not having too much trouble with it. He's already won 2 World Cups this year.
Yeah, Domin is really on fire this year. Like, that's an understatement even.
He's of course the boyfriend of Yanni Gambret. I don't know if they live together, but if they do, I hope they've got a big trophy cabinet because
You mean a second house for the trophies?
yeah, pretty much, yeah. They need a double garage by the end of this season.
Yeah, they're carrying 2 mortgages, I would imagine. Although same could be said for Jane Kim. She's also probably got a second house full of trophies.
As I see Jane Kim there entering the shot. That lovely slow style. As I say, we haven't seen a top on the women's route. We're actually probably 3 or 4 moves short of a top. No one ventured on to the very last moves, so it'll be interesting if Jane Kim can do it. That is Jane Kim on the right. Ignore the Swedish flag, and Kaiser Rosen, unfortunately, she is backstage. She was called down for missing a quick draw.
I mentioned earlier, Charlie, that I love the aggressive climbing style, the fast, authoritative, but I've got to say there is something special about watching Jane Kim climb in that she's so on the other end of the spectrum that it really is incredible.
Domanskovic, no problems so far. He's still on this bouldery section, but he's pretty much through it now. That something about one more move and he'll be off it. Making the most of the relatively lower angle ground before he launches into the upper section of this route. Meanwhile, Jane Kim is doing what Jane Kim does best, climbing in complete control.
And also from Korea, Jane Kim,
Doman making the most of any slight opportunity to rest, saving himself for higher on the route. Again, the isolation is a long way from the wall here in Imst, so whether the climbers are aware of what they've still got to do, we don't know.
They do get to spend, I just realized, they get brought down from ISO about 2 climbers before they climb. So they are behind the wall there, just past the door in which they come out. So a lot of them are wearing headphones back there, but I think some of them might be aware of the situation a little bit.
So you're probably aware of what the 1 or 2 climbers ahead of you have done. Beyond that,
yeah,
probably not much.
But Doman probably doesn't know that Raman topped the route.
No, you suspect not. It gives you an idea of the climbing speed. I know Doman was started earlier, but Jane Kim, to give you some idea, she's probably half height of Doman.
I believe she actually timed out here in Imst. It might not have been last year, but I know she has timed out here in the final or the semifinal before. So she's likely learned her lesson. She probably knows the situation. It'd be unfortunate to see that happen again, but if anyone is going to do it, it would maybe be her.
Unfortunately, you could be right. As I say, you can see at bottom right of your screen that lovely slow style, but not necessarily that well seated to a huge lead wall like the one we have here in Imst. Doman, meanwhile, is onto the triangular volume and heading for the steepest section.
Jane Kim's actually been climbing much more dynamically than normal this competition. We saw her in qualifiers earlier really tee off on a couple moves where she really had to, and just then we saw her pull her hips back and pull into the wall a little more aggressive than we're used to. It looks like she's adjusting her climbing style a little bit to accommodate the way that the route setting has kind of gone in the last couple of years.
So Doman, he's onto this steepest section. Heading towards the huge volume. He'll have to at least get to it with both hands to stand a chance of progressing to the final. The form he's in, though, you suspect he'll be a lot better than that. Just going to see the latest results on the top left of your screen. There we see Ramonet, the only man to have topped this route so far. Roman Legrange very close.
We can see Doman and Jane Kim started at about the same time, and Doman is currently about 7 or 8 moves from the top, and Jane Kim is just not quite halfway.
Yeah, she is in danger of being timed out, but
and Doman's not even really that fast. He is climbing at a good pace right now, but
you can see him battling with these moves. As I say, he's going to have to get onto this big volume.
He's okay. He's got this.
He does. You can just see the fatigue kicking in. He just lunged for that.
Come
hold.
on, Doman.
Come on, Doman.
Good.
That's it. He's found the best part of the hold. That easiest.
That is a gnarly method.
That is an incredibly powerful way of doing that move.
Yeah.
But Domanskovic has climbed himself into the
into
the final.
Powerful.
That was incredibly powerful.
That foothold that he stood on is not really much. When he started pulling, I was like, oh no, his foot is certainly going to pop, but alas, he's still on.
World Cup leader.
So Doman, he'll certainly be in the final. But what position? What a statement that would be if he could top this route.
I think he sticks his second last hold.
Okay, place your bets now. Caleb Thomas reckons it's the top from Doman.
No, I said I think he sticks the second last hold.
Okay, he's done that. Can he?
I think he sticks it and then bites it. Oh, this is the good method though. Yeah, he's done.
Tillman Skofic, so close. He won't know necessarily that that's enough.
So Charlie, I think it might be time for you to open up your wallet on that one, eh?
We didn't have time for a career prize, unfortunately.
That was great for Doman. That was perfect.
Meanwhile, Jane Kim has certainly done enough to reach the final over on the women's route, as we see a very spectacular fall from Doman. Just untying a couple of meters from us, there he was.
As Jane Kim is up in the top of the route now, she's looking great. Hopefully she gets the sequence correct through here. Good, see, this is exactly what we wanted earlier. Excellent.
Now, Jane Kim is extraordinary. There's no sign of any
good.
effort on her face.
She's got lots of gas in the tank, I think. We'll see, the holds do get bad. So close.
That will certainly be enough to see her into the final tomorrow. And Doman Skofic has just about managed to get the knot undone on his harness. That was quite a big fall he took.
It's interesting because the holds at the top of the routes for the men and the women are basically the same hold, actually, with just little screw-on jibs. They're very different, but in that head wall, they're climbing very similar climbing.
We see there, Doman Skofic, that was enough to take second. He'll be in the final tomorrow, as will Roman de Grange, Sebastian Halenka, and Hanwoo Kim. Those five are safe. And Stefano Gisolfi.
So, und meine Damen und Herren, jetzt der Zweitplatzierte nach dem Qualifying. Letztes Jahr fantastisch Zweitplatzierte.
And in the women's competition, we have 3 climbers still to go. So the following 5 are safe: Magdalena Rock, Jane Kim, and Sophie Coller, Julia Shanode, and Tiaza Kalan. Those 5 will be in the final tomorrow. Who will join them? Jakob Schubert, there he is. He's come out in front of the home crowd, and the photographers have come with him. So Jakob, you see there, hometown of Innsbruck, just up the road. Be going home after this.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a hometown hero, I think. I know he's from down the road, but he's got a big fan base here at Imst.
He'll be enjoying any World Cup where he can sleep in his own bed. He'll be enjoying that. And he didn't look the most certain of all the climbers on that move, but would have been a big surprise if he slipped off there. Meanwhile, Mina Markovic is out onto the women's route, seemingly back on the form we're used to seeing from her. Qualified third. So we're on our second to last male climber and third to last female climber. Here's Mina getting stuck straight into it as we watch Jakob competes in boulder and lead. He's won World Cups in both disciplines, so he won't be too phased by this volume-based lower section on the men's route.
Nach Jakob Schubert kommt nur noch einer. Und nach Mina Markovic nur noch 2. Nach wie vor.
Jakob, having said he wasn't having too much trouble with this bouldering section, he's now just thinking about it a little bit more before the move right.
I actually expected Jakob to move a little bit quicker through this section, just because he is so experienced on the boulder circuit. But he's obviously come through on the holds. He's taking his time, and he's climbed on this wall a lot, so he probably knows what speed he should be moving at and when he needs to move quick. And
still slightly surprising though to see him using up time quite this low down. He knows what he's doing though. Doesn't need my help.
Yeah, he's climbed a couple times.
It's not his first rodeo, is it?
No, maybe his second, but
still only 25 years old. Yeah,
really?
Schubert, it's hard to believe. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I thought he was a little older, but
and him and Mina right next to each other. Two legends of the sport, a couple of meters apart. As I say, it's between him. You can see it better on the bottom right shot on your screen. Jakob.
oh, Jakob looks a little uncomfortable here, eh?
Yeah, I was busy saying that he wouldn't be too stressed out by this bouldery start, but
I know he's proving us wrong.
he's certainly seems to have found it massively easy thus far. Used up a lot more energy than some of the climbers we've seen. Once he moves right here, you'd have thought he should be clear of the section he was struggling with.
I think he's going to do maybe the same thing as Thomas and maybe rest a little here and try to regain some composure. And yeah, it looks like he's going to take some time to take just a little breath and relax a little before this next powerful sequence. Smart.
I've got Caleb Thomas alongside me, IFSC Aspen route setter. He helps us set these routes. Don't forget, if you want to ask him any questions, hashtag IFSCWC. And we have a question for you, Caleb, and it's the question that all route setters hate. From Eddie Shelley, he wants to know what is the grade of the routes. I know route setters don't like answering this, but have a go.
Well, we all know how hard they climb outside, right? So you got to remember it's on-site climbing. It's not red point climbing. But these climbers are all very, very strong, and they're all getting up very high on these routes. When we route set, we don't really discuss the grade very much. It's more about what's right for the climber. I don't mean to dodge your question, but I don't even know what to answer with you. I could, look at his scorecard. He regularly on-sites hard routes, and you can expect that this route is somewhere in the similar difficulty range.
Well, if you've ever seen The Matrix when Neo dodges all those bullets in slow motion, Caleb Thomas has just replicated that right here. I'm just giving you a hard time.
It's okay.
You can take it. Meanwhile, Mina Markovic over on the women's route, we've been focusing on Jakob Schubert and the fact that he didn't seem to be finding the lower section quite as straightforward as we expected him to. Meanwhile, Mina Markovic making good progress on the women's route. Not quite got to the real business end of it just yet. But she's not too far off. We will keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Jakob seems much more at home on this sort of terrain.
So, da muss es noch den richtigen Griff finden hier auf den Überhang. Und die Suchschörner, wie leuchtet es
Jakob setting himself for this steepest section of this route.
Und auch die Slowenin, Mina Markovic.
Slightly more fiddly clip than he would have liked.
Mina's looking comfortable as usual. Interesting choice of rest position, but
yeah, certainly an unusual way of doing
it's
it.
working for her. See, Jakob perfectly, I think, so far is perfectly timed it. He took that little rest at the hat at the bottom to compose himself. Took a good little rest there at the gray volume to get ready for the roof, and I think he climbed slow to the bottom, quick to the middle, and he's taking a little bit of time here, but I think it's okay. The sequence is tricky, and he wants to make sure he gets it right the first time.
See his face just getting red at Jakob with the effort. Meanwhile, I can tell you that Mina Markovic is, I think,
she's actually moving really quick, eh?
I think she's done enough to make the final.
She's resting in one of the hardest little sections here, so maybe she's back in top Mina Markovic form. We'll see in a few moves. Great for the show right now. You can see on the live stream there, where you could just a second ago, they're right at the same place on the wall. It's perfect when it's like this. I'm going to look up and enjoy the show. It's so good here.
Yeah, we've got a fantastic spot for our commentary booth here.
We've got both climbers hanging at the same height on the wall, chalking up, pumping up the crowd a little. Jakob just gave a little bit of a what's up.
You can see the effort shown now. Mina Markovic, bottom right of your screen, she's done enough. She'll be in the final.
If she gets this next hold, it should be the high point. And considering that she's clipping and chalking, I think we might see a high point here for Mina Markovic.
Yeah, she'll be in the final tomorrow.
Come on, Mina. You've got to go now.
She made one.
Oh, Jakob looking strong.
Well, both climbers don't know who to
Mina's
focus
got the
on.
high point.
I don't know who to focus
Oh,
on here. Jakob
Mina Markovic
Schubert's off.
is looking so strong right now. Come on, Mina. Allez, Mina.
Come on, Mina.
Oh.
This is certainly enough
This
for the lead
is-
for Mina Markovic.
This is excellent. Come on. Oh, amazing performance from Mina. This is excellent. This is exactly what we should be looking for from her on this route. That was, great.
Hard to know who to focus on there. They were both at the key point at exactly the same time. Jakob walks off looking a bit annoyed. We'll be interested to see whether that was enough. It looked to me as if it would be. He moved off the large volume.
Maybe we should cancel tomorrow night. We're getting a great show here for the semifinal.
I think we can replicate it.
I know we can replicate it, but this is so good.
No pressure on you guys, but we'd like this
Look,
again, please.
Paul and Flo and Jan were just on the live stream. They're happy, I think.
Da fällt er gleich das Stein vom Herzen. Also, Jakob Schubert, wie 2015 im Grande-Finale unter den Top 8.
So, the final climber out in the men's competition will be Gautier Zuppe, and we will also see next Janja Garnbret, and she will be followed by Anak Verhoeven.
It's going to be cool here because Gautier and Janja climbing at the same time. It should also be, hopefully be good for the show.
Vive la France! Gautier Zuppe!
Extraordinary wall here in Imst. You can see how big it is. You see see the figures at the bottom. Now,
I was just about to say, compared to the people at the bottom of the wall, you can see really just how gargantuan this wall is. We've still got all 4 qualifiers left up on the wall, as well as the 2 semis, and as well as maybe 40 other commercial climbing routes that are left over from what we didn't take down.
Gautier Zuppe!
Gautier Zuppe, you can see him there. He's come out. He is the final male climber this evening.
Semi-final climb.
Just making the most of his observation time. Janja Garnbret, meanwhile, I don't think she used up her full observation time. Just got straight on with it. And when you've won 3 World Cups out of 3, you know what you're doing.
That said, I know she looked a little emotional after the qualifier this morning. I think we're going to see Janja coming out with in some serious attack mode here. She wants redemption on this final. I don't think she's going to let herself come second to Anak in this round. Especially not getting the top on qualifier 1 due to time and having a little slip at the top of qualifier 2. I think we're going to see some aggressive, strong climbing from Janja here.
You begin to understand the standards that this woman is setting when coming second in the qualifying round is a major disappointment and puts her into attack mode. But you're absolutely right.
It's actually nice, I think, because I think for the first time this season, we've seen a little bit of weakness and we've seen a little bit of something there to motivate her. Just like, I don't know if anyone at home was watching the semifinal for the 200 meter at the Olympics, Andre de Grasse putting pressure on Usain Bolt. Same kind of idea here, I think. Just letting her know, hey, you're good, but you know, there's some other people around here that can put some pressure on you. It's nice seeing this, I think. She needs it.
I think so, yeah. Anak Verhoeven's been right behind her most of the year.
Right on her
three
tail.
Events have had this year, but Janja just always seems to find a way. But as I say, Anak won the qualifying round yesterday, so Janja ties Jane Kim's record from 2010, which is 3 World Cups in a row where you win every single round. I know that all that really matters is the overall win, but yeah, 3 World Cups in a row, topping every round of those World Cups. To do that 3 in a row, that's equals Jane Kim's 2010 record. Don't want to tempt fate, and we're still a long way off this, but Jane Kim also holds the record for 5 lead World Cup wins in a row. That was also in 2010. In fact, no. Sorry, I stand corrected. That wasn't a record for Jane Kim. Maya Vidmar won 6 in a row in 2007. No pressure, Yanya. Suddenly got some trippy, trancey music on here. Bit surreal for Yanya Gambret and Gauthier Zupper. Gauthier still relatively low down on the route if you've watched all our coverage. As we just quickly, top left of your screen, before we talk about Gauthier, you see Mina Markovic leads away. Head of Magnarok, Jane Kim, and Sophie Koller, Yulia Shanodi, and Tiaza Callan. They will all be in the final tomorrow, but 2 more spaces up for grabs. I was about to say Gauthier Zupper. If you've been watching all our coverage, you'll recognise where he is. Still relatively low down on the route before the major shift in angle. So Yanya, as we're accustomed to seeing, not too stressed as things stand.
Yeah, she's looking good. That position is also not what I would consider a rest position. But for Yanya, I think all positions are a rest position.
It just always seems to be a sense of inevitability about Yanya Gambret this season.
This is awesome. Gauthier and Yanya are moving at a very similar pace here. You can see in this shot they're right at the same height on the wall. It's perfect.
So Gauthier, as I say, he qualified top out the qualifying round. He is the final male climber we're going to see this evening. Chambéry. So the 3 World Cups we had in France and Switzerland were relatively close to home, but he's away now. He'll be in Arco next week as well.
Gauthier is looking solid here. He looked really great in qualifier. Obviously, he's a top qualifier. Of course, he looked good. Well, it's kind of a dumb thing to say, but I mean, there's still a difference. He looked really in control the entire day. I hope that clip out the roof doesn't hinder him. It's nice that if you have that draw clip, you can keep pumping through, but it can get in the way. They're a little smarter than that, though. I don't think they'll let it get in their way.
It's a fair comment you make, though. I know he was top in the qualifying round, but he looked like the top climber as well.
He just looked like an animal. You know, sometimes when they come out and they just look better than the field significantly, it's obvious. Gauthier is Gauthier like 8'10" or something? He seems to be clipping draws that are in other postal codes.
No, he's
my height. He's normal height. He's not a big guy. He's like.
No, he's not an especially big guy. I know what you mean, though. He's
got the go-go gadget arms or something's going on. All right, allez Gauthier, let's see it. Come on, go get it. There you go. See, solid. Get campus move just like we want. Be a big, strong man up there for the crowd is perfect.
He'll be into the final. We know that.
Yeah. Now, but maybe now, if everything is picture perfect, we'll get the match on the second last hole. Kick for the top. But there's no way I'll get this lucky.
Yeah, he just seems to be. There's a hint of fatigue. I can understand why, but he's not got that far to go.
He gets a little bit of a rest here. If he's smart, he'll take it.
It's the top of the route, basically. There's a hole there. We see the top sign just visible. Meanwhile, Yanya Gambret doing what she always does and seemingly cruising these very difficult routes the route setters have provided.
I feel like Yanya is more than capable of getting to the top of this route. It's whether or not she gets the right sequence and really makes good decisions through this section. I think given that we saw Mina make a good decision here, I would imagine since Yanya is also Slovenian, they've probably previewed the same sequence. So, fingers crossed. Ali Gauthier, oh, he's moving too quick. Yeah. He needed to take his time there and get his right heel hook up on the volume. He rushed that section.
So that is the men's semi-final over here.
That was
Imst. What
awesome.
a semi-final it's been.
Yeah,
Fantastic. We'll recap the results for you. Gautier's up has done enough there, though. He's been lowered down next to us, looking for someone in the crowd.
So, as I said, Yanya and Mina previewed the same sequence, obviously. They're going the exact same way through here. Mina did look a little bit more solid than Janja, but Janja has a little more fight, so we'll see if she can kind of, there she is, she's got the high point now. Come on, good. Oh no,
yeah.
Mina went for this next hold, my apologies.
I was about to say, I think this will be the high point. I think that'll be a shared high point.
Yeah, they both got the plus on that Morpho hole with the ticks. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself there,
That's
Charlie.
fine. Just for people that are new to climbing, and we hope we have got some new viewers out there, what do you mean by a plus? So we know the holes are numbered, that's how the scoring works. When you say a plus, so if she gets 44 plus, what's the plus of 30?
So the climbers, when they make control of a hold, they get a point for the hold. When they move off the hold, they get a plus. And what we need for a plus is that their hand moves in the direction of the hold and that there's movement from the body as well. I'm not a judge, and I'm not going to speak for the ranking, but that to me looked like it was probably a good solid plus.
So there we see men's results. Ramone leads away ahead of Domen Skofic, Roman de Grange, Gutierrez Upper, Sebastian Hallager, Jakob Schubert, Hanwol Kim and Stefano Gisolfi. They are the 8 who will contest the final tomorrow. What a final that will be. See a bit further down, a few climbers that might have been expected to be a bit higher up. Urban Primozic, he's made 2 finals already. He won't be making a 3rd today though. And the final 6 men there, we see 2 Germans down there, and Yuval Schemmler. It was great to see him climbing down in 23rd.
Top 8. And ladies and gentlemen,
and we have one more climber still to come. That is Anak Verhoeven. Here she is with perfect timing.
The second place intermediate in the World Cup ranking from Belgium, Anak
As I say, we've now completed the men's competition. So Anak will have the stage to herself.
Christine Schanz als 8. bei den Österreicherinnen. Jetzt kann sie unter Umständen aus den Top 8
See,
rausfliegen.
she's just got those shoe covers on that a lot of the climbers wear.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, just keep the toe of the rock boot clean until the last possible second. Very sensible idea. And we see here Anak Verhoeven. She's very scientific in her approach. Just sets her watch off. No doubt on a countdown to 8 minutes.
Yeah, very smart move, I think, here for Imst. I think if you're up high in that blue section and you need a little rest, knowing how much time you can rest is definitely important. There's one little section there before they come out the roof where they could afford to take an extra 30 seconds or so, and knowing you have it is very smart.
Anak Verhoeven, she's had a fantastic season this year.
Oh, yeah.
Second, and 8th. So every final. And she just had a slip from Brianson. She didn't really make a mistake. She just popped off.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaker.
It was a bit tough to watch. She was very upset. But second, she's been on 6 World Cup podiums without ever winning one.
Whoa.
Today could be the day. You get climbers like that. Melissa Lenev in the bouldering we see. She's often so close but never quite won one. Is today the day for Anak Verhoeven?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. I stand corrected. Still only
But
20
to be
years
fair,
old.
this semi has kind of felt like a final, so I understand what you're saying.
The spectators from Belgium. Yes, they are. Wonderful.
Oh, Anik, just keep moving. She needs to not think so much about this sequence. I'm worried she's overthinking this section. She's got a good method here now with the foot up, but she should know that there's no reason for her to fall this low on the route. This part is not for her.
Well, that's the same. Brianson in the final, she just slipped unexpectedly. She wasn't expecting to fall. It was, I don't remember any of the climbers falling where she fell either. As I say, we did have terrible conditions.
I always find it really funny as a coach when you have a kid or an athlete who is a top of field competitor and they're coming to you to coach, oh, I'm worried about this move at the second draw, and you're like, this move is not for you. Like, this is the fluff at the beginning of the route. Like, you know, you don't need to worry, you're not going to fall here. Either that or the route setter has really messed it up, you know, so she should just be moving through this section confidently.
Which she is doing so far. great to be able to concentrate on just one of the climbers. Now we've had the men's competition out the way, and we've got an amazing looking final for you tomorrow. Incredibly strong. I think you could probably argue that's the strongest final lineup we've had so far.
Yeah, it's cool. I think at this point, the setting crew, I think, I don't know. I'm happy with the results so far. I would imagine Paulo, Jan, and Flo are feeling the same, and I think we got the right people coming into final. Pending that Anak finds her way in there, of course. It would be a travesty not to have her.
She's got this extraordinary style. It's Jane Kim-esque of never really looking like you're trying, to be honest. It's smooth, keeps an eye on the time. And I'm certain that that watch on her left arm will be set with an 8-minute countdown. You can see there, coming up for halfway up the route, not quite there yet. The colour change is about halfway. So she'll move from yellow holds to blue. As ever, Anak looking in complete control. Top the qualifying round. First person other than Jan Garmbret to come top in a round this year in the Women's IFSC Lead World Cups. What an extraordinary year it's been.
Looks like she's really kind of gotten into her rhythm here now. She's made a good consistent pace. She seems confident. I was just a little worried at the bottom with this torpedo section. It's like, but she's picked it back up here.
Has picked it back up. Make your way confidently up through the middle third of this route.
I guess that was the point of the torpedo section, was to cause that exact emotion in the climber, but it's not always that the top end falls for our tricks. They're usually smarter than we are, I think.
You get a much better idea of the angle of the wall from there.
Yeah, where she is right now is getting pretty steep.
So she's at the colour change. The holes go from yellow to blue. Pretty much halfway up the route. And then you can see the steepest section of the wall still above her. So already looking pretty solid through this middle section, Anak. Amazing when you think about the quality of some of the climbers who've fallen off by this stage. She still doesn't look troubled.
Yeah, that is really the kind of crazy. The difference between the top end of semifinal and the rest of the field in the women's division is significant, I think. To make a final in the women you need to be very, very strong, I think. Making final for the men can break down a little bit more sporadically depending on the routes and how they climb, but for the women, you really need to be in shape to join some of these top ladies here.
The last steps to reach the top 8 for tomorrow's final.
So, Anak, you suspect already done enough to make the final. What a statement it would be if she could top this route here.
It would be good for a few of us sitting here, yes, that's for sure, and I think the crowd would be pretty excited.
Well, I think you've got to be pretty happy with how the men's went. One top.
I think we're happy with how they all went, to be honest. The boys over there look happy, and I'm happy.
So we see their confirmation, Slovenia and Slovenia, 1 and 2.
59 plus, 58 plus, 57 plus, 56 plus. Happy.
So So Christine Schranz is going to be knocked out of this final. Anak Verhoeven's going to take her place. Now then,
Come on, Anak.
if
She
can,
does look solid here.
if she can
needs
hold
to
on
get-
to the next hold, she will
needs to
take
get
the
her
lead.
foot up, and she needs to move a little more controlled than Mina and Yanya did. That said, she looks way more comfortable on this hold than they did.
The ladies for top.
Yeah! Oh!
The meter in front of them.
So close.
Garrett, two.
I think Caleb Thomas next to me might have thought she got that for a second. If your eardrums just exploded like mine did, apologies.
Yeah, sorry everybody.
That's fine. We love the enthusiasm.
Oh, that was so good. Look at this. That was so close.
That was so close. So no top in the women's competition, just one in the men's. Before we go, we will confirm the finals tomorrow for you after a fantastic semi-final. Just got better and better as it went on. Long semi-final, as you'd expect here in Imst. Such a big wall, there we see it.
Wow, it looks amazing.
And just to confirm our top 8 and our finalists tomorrow, Ramone back in the final. Domen Skofic will join him, as will Roman de Grange, Gautier Zuppers, Sebastian Halenka, Jakob Schubert, Hanwoo Kim and Stefano Gisolfi. Boban Primozic misses out on his, what would have been his third final in 4 events.
Close.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Habt einen wunderschönen Abend hier in Tirol.
See that? Final 6 climbers in this evening's final. Evgeny Zazulin. We were looking forward to seeing him. Ended up 24.
See you tomorrow. Goodbye.
And then the women's competition, Anek Verhoeven, Mina Markovic, Janja Gambrit, Magdalena Rock, Jane Kim and Sophie Culler, Yulia Shanodi and Tiaza Kalam will contest the final tomorrow.
That's a great final.
That is a great lineup.
Yeah.
So a couple of bigger names missing out further down the field. The French girls stand out. Dinara Fakhrudinova, Risa Rota. Very closely contested women's semi-final. See there, Kaiser Rosa, she was called down after she missed a quick draw.
That was the biggest heartbreak, I think, of the round.
So there we have it. What a fantastic semi-final here in Imst. Big thanks to IFSC aspirant Roussetter Caleb Thomas for joining me
Thanks for having me.
and providing some of the best quotes of the year.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be hearing about that for a while.
We're live at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night for the final here in Imst. If it's anything like this evening, it will be a cracker. See you then.